Tonight on 8.5-bit, we sing a song to a fish, honk a farmer, and go bobbing for apples. I don't know how I feel about that apple chewing. Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 265 of 8.5-bit. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me tonight are my good friend Sam.
Hello.
And James Ewell.
Hello.
And the games hinted at in the front of the show is, of course, Singing a Song to a Fish, Link's Awakening, Honking a Farmer in Untitled Goose Game, and Bobbing for Apples with 50 games from Apple Arcade. Which is an exaggeration, but only by 2.
Slightly.
Well, I thought they were up to like 70 now or 69.
No, I meant games I'm talking about.
Oh,
My game list is over 30.
There's a lot on
so
there.
do you need us here? Or we
Probably
can...
No. I will only talk in detail about a couple.
Okay.
And I will have some general thoughts.
Because I know when things are on your list, you like to talk about them. You got to put your little tick next to it.
I do. You know, sometimes when there's scheduling issues and can't really do an episode, I'm like, maybe I should just do one. I do like to talk.
Full solo game thoughts.
Just put some little hats on Dusty and Toast.
Well, because we have a static shot, I could actually just sit in 2 positions and talk to myself.
That actually
Yeah,
is kind of
very
amazing.
I'm your host, Paul, and joining tonight is my extremely good friend, Paul. Hi, Paul. How are you going? Not bad, Paul. You're looking quite handsome tonight. Oh, thank you. A bit rough around the edges. You yourself, though. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's the second time recording this.
Do you want to just go, James?
No, well, I just expect if there's 2 Pauls in a scene, it'll just turn into a porno very quickly.
No, because there has to be a split in the shot. Not doing any special effects on this thing. The only kind of porno would be if one person on the other side of the screen like bends over and you chuck something over. That's how sex works, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just
so,
throw
yeah.
things at your
Well, at
partner.
least how fish work.
Octopuses do it that way, I believe.
Yeah.
Release your spores.
There's some fish that just throws a spear at the woman, and the spear inseminates them.
Yeah, I think it's the blue ring octopus that tears off its genitalia and throws it
Just
at
throws
the
it.
throws it along.
Isn't nature awesome?
Living the dream.
Go F yourself kind of manner.
I just imagine taking human sexual harassment. It's like a woman walking past a building site, and all these construction workers just ripping
off their
dicks
junk.
and chucking them at the street.
When
Nice
you think
tits.
about it, we kind of had to invent fetishes because we're kind of boring as a species. We're a little bit
We've got
boring.
nothing on animals.
There's nothing special.
Yeah, we don't have any kind of weird duck penises, do we?
Yeah, there's no corkscrews. There's no like four-headed echidna stuff.
I haven't looked into goose sexuality actually.
I don't know.
But,
I
I'd rather
thought
not.
birds were normally a bit more boring. Don't they just like
You'd
2
think so.
orifices that just like mush together?
That doesn't sound boring at all, James.
Didn't you just sum up anything?
We just that reminds me of what we wanted to do as a short game, which was procedurally generated genitals, which you just had to work out
Well,
how
how
to
they-
make them
how
have
they
sex
actually
with each
work.
other. It's like, okay, well, if those are okay.
So you start with the spore creature creator.
Yeah. It's like how do these systems work? We have a very systems driven game. It would be Breath of the Wild of sex. It's like, anyway, a video. Hello, how are
Hey.
you boys this week?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, not too
How have
bad.
things been?
Pretty good.
Anything happened?
Not
Uh,
particularly. I got some Lego. That's about it.
Lego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lego's pretty good. James and I went and saw Rambo.
We did. It's very violent.
I have very what I could think interesting takes on it. And I don't know if it's intended, but I feel it's intended.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it
But-
is. Well, the thing is, when you come back to it, it's like Stallone when it comes to his actual projects, well, other than his just straight action films. I mean, like, his first big thing was like, well, iconic things that win Academy Awards and stuff. We just think of him as an idiot.
Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit. But it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was no It Chapter 2.
I mean, what is other than what I do in the toilet 2 times a day? Oh my lord, that movie
Was
not good.
funny.
Yeah,
Laugh.
yes, it is. It is.
So many laughs.
It is funnier than it is anything else.
Yes.
Well, boring. Boring.
low-
but
I
fun.
low
wasn't
bar,
bored.
though.
I had a good
Even
time.
when it did the same scene 6 times in a row, you weren't bored.
No, I wasn't. I stayed interested. No, I stayed amused.
You just asked that
Yeah.
to a man who
Yeah.
likes playing looter shooters.
So
So
two
doing
is a looter shooter
the
of
same
cinema.
the same thing 6 times in a row is It's normal.
Not only likes to play looter shooters, but can play looter shooters.
Shut up, you.
We'll also be discussing Borderlands 3.
How dare you?
So there's shitloads of things to talk about. And so much so I have somewhat, not anxiety.
Which one do you pick first?
This is it's like selection.
So yes, It's like a
It's
menu with too
when
many
you look at
things
the
on
menu.
it.
Yeah. Whatever that term is. God damn it. I think it's like selection anxiety or choice anxiety or something like that. Yeah.
It's like too many options.
Yeah.
I'll just have a water.
Yeah,
and bread,
I'm just going
thank
the
you.
Big Mac because I just can't
I
decide.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate a restaurant with like a 20-page menu. It's like no. Give me 4 items.
Yes.
Or even better, a food truck with 1 item.
Yeah.
Just
And
bring
you're like,
some food.
What sauce do you want? Like, how many sauces do you have? We got 2.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of those. I better get somewhere else. But also before that, I guess a little bit of business, which I'll repeat because, well, this is actually probably... Well, we technically have one more recording before PAX, but how that will time out for release and everything, I don't know if we'll actually get one done before then. So we were at PAX, so you can come and say hello. You can buy us a drink. But we're also presenting at PAX. So you can come and catch us at 2 shows. The first show, we are repeating our Best Worst Games in History series, which the last few years we've covered Trespasser and then
Duke Nukem
Forever.
Yep.
And previously that, it was another show where we did Dakatana. This year we are doing Aliens Colonial Marines, which James and I have been playing along with a few other panelists and having a wonderful time with friends.
With friends. A very important caveat. Yes, a wonderful time with friends.
I would just say, if you haven't played the game, or even if you have and you just have some negative memories of it, when I picked the game, because we're always looking for something that's like mainstream enough that people recognize it and notorious, but also like like there's still some meat there. I thought maybe, because I hadn't played it, I was like, maybe it'll be a bit of a boring choice because I just assumed it was just kind of drab and didn't really work. Boy, that game is broken as hell and in hilarious ways, and just, my lord, I did not expect it was that bad.
So many alien jazz hands.
Out of all the games we play, I'd say it's the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trespasser was more like fundamentally broken, but its core was more fun.
Well, yeah, I think Trespasser was really trying stuff.
Yeah.
And
it was really ambitious.
Yeah.
And this is like a total lack of ambition. Yeah. Because I've enjoyed playing all of them, and the only reason I'm enjoying this is because I'm playing co-op.
Yeah, because you haven't played it on your own yet.
I briefly played it on my own. There's a few levels I want to run back through on my own because I don't understand how they work single player.
Yes.
Because we just cheesed it with multiple people. But yes, if you want to chat, that is on Friday night, 6:30 at the Fruit Bat Theatre. We're both evening panels this year, which I'm not sure what that means politically.
I don't know.
Politically. Yeah, I think we're in prime time. On Saturday, we are at 8 p.m. We're getting late. I got to find out the alcohol on stage policy of PAX. We are doing a new show that we are going, and might be the start or something, depending on what people's feedback is. The Trash Enthusiast Society. This is for people that love trash tier games and the wild, crazy, strange things that just come out of counterculture and people that may be making games that don't quite have the skills, but good ideas and stuff like that.
Bit of outsider art.
Yeah, outsider. It's about embracing sort of the normally overlooked and just trying to find some very strange things in there as well. Because it's basically an extension of when we do our top 5s, which I didn't pitch one this year. This is essentially top 5s when we did like top 5 weirdest games. But when you say that, there's an onus to come up with, this is the weirdest thing ever. It's like, that's very hard to
discuss
quantify.
all of them with no numbering.
Yeah. It's like, how about we just give a selection of cool shit, and guess what? There's endless amounts of them. So we can talk about cool shit that we find forever without having to say, well, sorry, no, this is actually on the 73rd weirdest game. Yes. Nah. Drop all that. We don't need the list. I know people like order, but no order here. It's just about love and trash.
Chaos.
I feel like embracing chaos works for this kind of thing too.
So yes, Best Worst Games on Friday night, and Trash Enthusiast Society on Saturday night at 8 p.m. in the Ibis Theatre. Cool. Okay, so some business is done. Should we talk about some video games?
Probably should.
Sure.
Sam, would you like to pick?
Let's go with Goose Game.
We'll start with Untitled Goose Game.
That's the most recent one I've gone with.
So, Untitled Goose Game. I feel most people have probably seen it.
I imagine so. It's managed to pick up a big following on Twitch as well as just in general.
Last year at PAX, they had one unit set up in Nintendo, and I was like, I'll go and play that at some point. And then I saw the endless line for the entire period.
There's a lot of people.
James is on dog duty. Ah, just getting out of it. For some reason, he decides to look in the bin when we're recording.
Only when you're recording.
No, let him come and go. Otherwise, I'll scratch at the door. There's no one else is in the house at the moment. Now you all know when to rob me. I'm in the podcast.
We can't stop the podcast. We'll just watch you.
Yeah,
just walk out with the TV.
No, we can't. Go, quick, come on, Mike.
Put that down. Put that down.
Thankfully, the switch is in here. Thank gosh. And the puppies are too. Nothing else of value. So it had really big trailer when it first came out. Everyone was very excited by it. It was a cute thing that was just sort of a fun idea. The original trailer was scored by a piano, and I don't think the initial plan was to have the game scored by a piano, but everyone loved it so much they said,
Bloody
I guess
beautiful.
that's what the game is
It's
now.
absolutely perfect.
I'm assuming that the name is kind of the same thing. I
Yeah,
thought it
Untitled
legitimately
Goose
would have been
Game, they
called
just-
Untitled Goose Game, and that stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I really feel like the original thing was sort of just like a prototype pitch joke thing, and then it just took off, so they did it well.
We'll just make this the game. Yeah.
Toast loves the bin. It's all the... No, don't worry about it. I'll put the bin up on the office chair. So the first thing you do in the game I just sold it on me. So it's just a picture of a garden, and it just says push Y to honk. This is on the Switch. I think it's space on the PC. And go honk, and then you see the goose in the bush.
Yeah.
He was hiding.
His little head pops out.
He pops out. And it's like you just walk out. You start being a goose. All you can do is
Solid intro.
yeah, you can run. You can spread your wings, which I don't know if it has an
I haven't
intimidation
figured out.
effect.
I haven't figured out a use for it yet.
But whenever I'm harassing a person, I like to spread my wings.
I feel like that's what it is. I think it is purely like it doesn't do anything, but you feel good doing it.
It's almost the ultimate role play game mixed with a little bit of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It kind of almost reminds me of like when I'm doing a VR game and there is a performative element to it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure you can do. You know, when people would play Wii Tennis
And they just do the
and they
little...
they just flick it around. It's like, no, you fucking up. It's not a game about. It's a game about game and play.
Yeah.
So if you just took this game and you're like, okay, so what I gotta.
If you just tried to do the achievements,
I gotta steal an apple. It's like, this game's nothing. It's whatever. Like I think there's some more difficult challenges
There are,
later
yeah,
up.
yeah.
But at its core purpose, this game is quite simple and everything. But it's joyful to play.
you just got to be the
Reactions.
goose.
You be the goose. The amount of times I'll just stalk, like the first areas with the farmer, I'll just stalk him. And it'll just be working. I'll just poke my head up around a corner and just let my head, the only thing exposed, just... and I'll be by myself and I'll still giggle. It's...
You just summed up all of my playtime with it. Just spend a good 2 minutes just honking away, flapping your wings, not really going for any of the actual goals.
Yeah.
You're just being a goose, just walking around.
And the goals are relatively... Normally it's like you sort of sit back, you watch the behaviors. You're like, okay, when can I interrupt or when can I steal something or something like that? There's quite heavy... So in the second area, just an example of things that are a little bit more complex. There's 2 walkie-talkies. So you can pick up a walkie-talkie, put it somewhere, then go to the other one, and honk at
and
it.
then,
and
that's where they think you are.
Think
Pull
this is
someone
someone
away,
else,
yeah.
stuff like that. So there are more interesting mechanics and interactions out there, and there's lots of human characters around for you to screw with, and some of them are scared of goose, some of them don't like the goose, and stuff like that.
Do people befriend the goose?
Not
There is one set of characters that does initially. That's it. Yeah.
Are there any other animals, or is it always goose?
It's all goose.
All goose? Goose all the way
goose
down?
all the time. Yeah.
I was thinking they could do a series of just obnoxious animal games, eventually colon.
But you think
co-op
the
thing.
goose thing
is
is
a
because
new
it's
genre.
like a quaint British town, like that. It's
Yeah,
set
yeah.
in a British village.
But you have a badger as
You
well.
could do a badger.
Yeah.
But if you change the setting,
Well, yeah.
you could make
raccoon.
the devs are from Melbourne, right? You
Yeah,
could do an
yeah.
Australian one that's a
It's a
possum,
possum or something, yeah.
Ibis.
an ibis.
Oh,
yeah.
Holy shit!
Untitled
Untitled
Ibis
Ibis game.
Untitled ibis game would
I'm going
work.
to go register
It would be
that.com.
exactly the same, just in Australia.
No. The tip
I'm
of the
slightly
bin-
more violent.
All you do is you sit on a bin, and when someone comes near you, you have to fly away. And this is still my favorite interaction ever with an ibis, where I walked around a corner. It was so shocked. It tried to fly over a fence, but it hooked its feet on the fence as it went over, and it just tipped over on the other side. You stupid animal. I don't even mind ibis. I know people hate them.
It's a bit gross.
Yeah, but
And they got smelly wings.
Animals. Well, I've never smelt an ibis's wings, to be frank, so I can't judge it on other birds' wings either because I don't spend that much time.
Don't have a
doing it.
large data set though.
Yeah. Other than chickens and I guess cockatiels, I don't have a large experience of physically having birds near my face.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, trying to think of another example. Very simple. Playing it on Switch. It's also on PC. I think that's all at the moment.
It's
Isn't it?
It's on Epic Game Store, isn't it?
Epic Game Store, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That is
think
PC.
it's on the other consoles.
I don't believe so. Yeah.
I just had to think because someone I was watching with it was using a PlayStation controller, but I think they were still playing on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the button prompts were PlayStation prompts, so it does that, which is good.
It's a very quaint game. Have you completed it?
I have completed the first run through of it, and I'm on like a second set of objectives
Because
now.
it adds a bunch of objectives after.
Yeah, which I found out. So there's a bunch of hidden objectives, effectively.
Yeah, I've found a few of them by
It
accident.
tells you what they all are after you've beaten the game once.
Oh,
So you
okay.
get that as a list.
So
But you can complete
do
them.
on the
You can
first
do them
playthrough if you-
accidentally first. If you go, I wonder if doing this is a thing, and then it gets ticked off and it shows it on the list.
But I liked because I think the first one you can get of those is sort of an obvious thing to try. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I was just lucky.
There's a
with
few
it.
you can do by accident,
But
like pick it up.
it letting me know that there was more things to discover than what was on the list made me start trying other things.
Yeah, I think that it would have been good if that hidden list with all the question marks was just there.
I don't know.
It only shows up
'Cause-
if you do one of them.
Because if they were there, would you get stuck? Like, would you?
Like
Would
you're
it,
trying to figure
well,
them out.
would it kind of
But
interrupt the
there's-
flow
there's
of
no,
going through it?
There's no indication of where those things are. So
But it's just if you're playing it
Yeah.
and there's 3 question mark objectives and you get you get 3 of the other ones, would you then move on or would you then
Yeah,
stick
so-
in that first
so
level?
The
until
way
you-
it's laid out is there's one list for each area, and then there's a 2-page list for all the extra stuff, which is across all the areas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you've got your individual objectives, and generally I think there's 1 or 2 you have to do to then be able to move on to the next area, because it makes people do stuff that unlocks the next passage.
yeah. Normally you get to a
But
certain part of the list. and it
the
adds-
extra bonus is on like an extra 2-page list, and it's just
Mm.
there's just two lists of objectives.
Yeah, with no specific indicator of where they are.
I don't know if you would like go, I need to figure out everything in this area
Yeah.
before moving on.
Unless
Or
you
not.
misunderstood.
I
and
mean,
thought,
I-
and
I
thought that was a
s-
list for just that area
Yeah,
of secret
yeah.
things, in which case you would never complete the game.
Yeah. I did
can't
get
look
stuck on a couple of things and just
Yeah.
moved on, and then came back to them later
Well,
too.
I can't get the farmer to change his hat.
Oh, that one.
Because I've only seen the animation where he takes his hat off once, and I have watched him for a long time.
There's other ways for that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to try
But-
again. I just want to steal his hat and throw it in the
I,
lake.
I think from
That's all I'm going to
from a design perspective
Yeah.
too, they've done a really good job of teaching you how advanced the interactions can slowly get until you get to like the end area of the game. Because like the very first area,
Which
the
I was going to
farmer-
assume that you're on the moon.
You can assume all you want, James. Like the very first area, it's all the objectives are quite simple in the way you achieve them. It's it's all about you take an item and run, or you honk at the farmer at the right time and he drops something or he does something. They're all very simple, and it kind of builds from there. And like what Paul was saying with the walkie-talkie area, that teaches you like, I can distract someone to then go and do something, which you use later on without the walkie-talkies.
Real Metal Gear Solid.
Unless you take the walkie-talkies all the way to like the next area.
Like, because it
So
doesn't.
it
doesn't
slowly ramps
physically
it up,
stop you from
but
moving stuff.
It does that thing of like teaching you what's doable as it ramps it up, which I think is really well done, as well as just being a goose.
Yeah.
Which is always the fun part.
Goosey fun. Yeah, really impressive so far. I just wish I hadn't been playing 35 games this week, so I was a little bit further in it.
Yeah, I just went. I think I spent like 5 hours in one sitting just smashing, just sitting through it.
Oh, that's good, because I heard people
All in one
saying
go.
short. I didn't know what short meant.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how much time you spend fucking around as a goose.
Yeah,
And
which if that
how
doesn't
much
appeal
time
to
you
you,
get stuck
like,
on puzzles.
what I'm looking forward to is actually I'm having a family barbecue on the weekend, and my little nephews are going to be over. Normally, I actually set up the SNES Classic because they've learned how to play SNES games now. But I'm actually thinking about putting Untitled Goose Game.
I
on
see
the
how they
TV,
go with it.
and just think because it's not really.
You don't actually have to do all the things.
You don't actually have to do anything in it. You
Just-
just play around and have fun and be a silly goose, which is kind of quaint and nice. Okay, so what's the most violent game we have?
I think that was it. We just talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, I played some demos. Let's do a quick demo rundown. Today I played the demo for MediEvil on PS4. just came out today after the State of Play, which we will get to. Actually, let's get to it directly after this conversation. So, I have previously said that I did not think it looked particularly good when in the videos. But, open-minded. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Didn't play it when it was on PS1, isn't it?
I did. I played the PS1,
Yeah. So, this is a PS1 game, and it's a shit game. And
It
why would
is.
anyone want to play it?
I didn't like it back when I was a child.
I don't think I think I liked it, but I never think I finished it.
Because,
I remember it was...
It's got a cool style.
Yeah, like it was a cool character.
Yeah.
It had some things going for it, none of which were the game.
Yeah, that was the thing.
I think.
Because I didn't have nostalgia for Crash. I didn't have nostalgia for Spyro. I didn't have nostalgia for this. And Spyro, I played some of the Dusty Brewer's antler in now. I might have to take that off. It's a bit of a noisy toy. But yeah, so Crash, I ended up thinking like this game is actually way better than I ever gave it credit for. It's a really good game. Still never be sold on the levels where you're running towards the camera.
No, those things should never exist in any game.
I never understood why they thought that was a good game design, but hey, whatever. Spyro, like I played sort of 1, 2, and 3 on the PS Vita, caught up, and then like the remake was like pretty solid. It looked really good, and the game is decent. And as they got a bit more complex later in there. So this game is just like the stills look fine. Running it, sort of the animation style looks really choppy. And
Or do they do that
the
thing
camera's
where
terrible?
they keep the same animation from the original game?
I think I heard it's basically running on top. Yeah.
Getting that antler, just rolling around on the floor.
Oh, that's a chewed up antler.
Yeah, so I kind of get what you're saying because like Crash and Spyro, because they're ones that did. As a kid, I finished both of those, and they felt like they were giving me something new. But I remember by the time I came around to MediEvil, apart from the style, it was fine. Like I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was a bad game, but
like, I just got weird things with combat. Like things will be right next to me, and that's actually too close to hit them with the sword. There's no real indicator of that. The sword just goes through them, but they don't take damage. I'm just like, this feels really sloppy. And the camera is... I don't know if it's the same as the original, but it does not feel good. Sometimes it takes camera control away from you. Sometimes you're just facing the wrong direction. There's nothing you can do about it. And I actually found there's a button to force it to look over your shoulder, so it's a bit like Gears of War. I should write that on my list. And like, the game is not made to be played with this button held down all the way, but it's actually more playable this way. I thought it was.
Did you ever load up Twinson's Odyssey?
Yes.
The sequel.
Yes.
It's Odyssey. What was it? That's the sequel, right? Odyssey.
Yeah, because it's Relentless, aka Little Big Adventure,
and then
Little Big Adventure 2, Twinson's Odyssey.
And there was a button you could press to orientate the camera right.
Yes.
So if you mashed it real fast,
it would be like
it would actually be like a over. Yeah.
I always wanted to not mod, but like make like an auto hotkey that was just constantly hitting
someone needs
spacebar.
to hack that game so it hits that button at like 60 frames a second.
It did make the games feel a bit better, even though it was janky as hell doing that as an option. Because it's still a good game, but it's like not having that.
For those who don't know it, obviously at the time, computers didn't have the power to render
scroll in 3D.
Yeah.
So basically redrew the frame every time you hit that. Yeah. That motorcycle outside. So Twinson's Odyssey, very good game.
Good game. I think you can get it
MediEvil,
on.
not so much.
They just did a Kickstarter this year for.
Is there a DCMU version of Twinson's Odyssey? Or like at a port of it?
Well, yeah. So .mu.
.mu. Sorry, that's what I'm
they
thinking of,
did both the Little Big Adventure games, so you can get them on everything. The ports are great. I mean, they're just. I have never had a problem playing any of them. And they're still good games, although I can't dedicate myself to play all the way through either one of them again. But there's so many games.
Too many.
It's like, because we're going to get a bit into like subscription service stuff a bit later as well. It's like, in the modern world, how many things do we need to keep forever anymore?
No more time.
It's just the collector in me and the nostalgia person in me. Okay, let's talk about the state of play since I brought up MediEvil.
Let's do it.
Or I can talk about Contra Rogue Core. Your choice.
Let's just do play and then Contra.
Okay. So today there was a Sony State of Play. By today I mean 4 days ago. Or later if you're listening to this not on the day of release. I don't know. You probably have your own life. Okay, so first up, they showed off a new game called Humanity, which is something of a Lemmings-ish puzzle game of some sort. I don't really know, because I don't know how much of that was actually representative of gameplay and how much was just a cool representation of it.
I tried to find more information on it, and all I could find is It's a game about crowds and human interaction in crowds.
It reminded me of that game Kids that I played earlier this year, but with a game attached to it instead of just a bunch of funny gags. Also reminded me of another game I'm playing at the moment, Riot, which I finally got, which is about two forces pushing against each other and
Fair enough.
trying to find balance.
There's a lot of that going on, I guess.
Yeah, but it's all supposed to be PSVR, and I'm like,
Well, it's both.
yeah, it's not only
Yeah, it's
PSVR.
not
That's
VR
why it
only.
also has PSVR. in it. I like these huge waves of people smashing against each other and being manipulated with physics. I mean, it's a cool idea. I'd like to see some game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also was a weird thing to head off on because
I actually-
that seems more like a Paul thing that would be in a
you inject
montage
that
in the
somewhere
middle.
in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, that no one mentions in
Yeah.
the recap afterwards. But
When-
I'm like, hey, that was weird.
Yeah.
When it first started, I actually thought it was just, totally accurate battle simulators coming to
Oh,
PlayStation.
yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Well.
It was like, oh look, they've added modern people to totally accurate battle simulator, but no, it's something else.
Yes.
It's very odd.
Okay, next up, they covered some Call of Duty Modern Warfare stuff.
I skipped that. I
Oh.
believe it was the story trailer.
You missed the most important part.
Oh.
When they announced that, I should have written down what the mode was called. That's that one of the multiplayer modes is temporary, is timed exclusive for PlayStation 4.
Huh.
That exclusive period is 1 year. You know,
An entire mode?
yes. So it's all right. You'll
What?
get it after a year.
What?
You know, when the next COD is out, because
Yeah.
it's a
Like, I'm really disappointed in.
Wow.
I wish that I trusted Activision to not be evil jerks.
Yeah.
Because I like COD. I actually don't mind it. It's this one they're remaking is the one COD single player campaign I've played.
well, it's not a remake.
Or it's like a
It's a reimagining
of it. Yeah, yeah.
So it's not doing the
reboot.
same thing.
I guess like a reboot of it.
Yeah, they just basically just wanted to call it Modern Warfare. They
Yeah.
use the same
They've
characters.
ran
without
out
having-
Yeah.
of COD names.
Yeah,
Yes.
they didn't want. They didn't want to have to deal with canon, so they just said, "We'll just call it
They've got,
that."
Yeah.
they've got
Yeah.
too many
And use
trademarks.
price. Yeah.
But like, what its source material is the one COD that I actually really enjoyed. Like
Yeah.
that campaign.
Yeah, I do remember that
and,
being.
and I do like the shooting. Like I do like the PvP to a point until I get beaten and angry and quit. But I just after Blops 4 and seeing how they released a free to play game, a Trojan Horse free to play game, where it wasn't even like they released it and people could read reviews and go, oh, this is full of microtransactions. It's like, no, they released it in an okay state, and then after about a month or two, they turned it into something else. And it's just a shame because I actually think I would genuinely like it, but I can't justify
Can't
getting
trust-
this thing.
can't
I
trust their
simply
business
can't trust the
practices.
business practice
No.
for me to buy this game and for it to be, not an exploitive kind of clusterfuck.
I wonder if it will be because I saw a lot of people saying they've cancelled their pre-orders after this because they were like, "Fuck these business practices." But of course, that's the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to know if there's any significant downfall on the PC and Xbox side because it won't affect the PS4 side because they get it.
Yeah.
So
Could be interesting.
yeah, I probably feel it won't be significant because that's just people. But yes, I thought that was pretty crappy. There was a lovely new trailer for Watam,
Oh,
Yes.
which is long been on my I think in the last couple of years it's been on my most anticipated this year list, and I was disappointed that it didn't come out. But it is coming out this year. It's coming out in December. So finally we'll be out. So I was watching
Christmas
it.
what time?
So it'll actually be the second Stranding game.
Because Stranding is a genre now.
Stranding is a genre,
But not even Hideo Kojima knows what it is.
and the Stranding genre is, of course, about bringing people together and making connections, which is what all this game is about, which is about making friends, holding hands, dancing, and then blowing yourself
With
each
co-op.
one up.
So
With co-op,
enjoyable.
It's watching all the... Because I remember I was listening to one of the developers talk about it, because it's such a simple-looking game. And, it's just really hard when you've got to make, a giant donut and a pyramid hug. Those interactions are more difficult than you'd imagine.
Yeah.
And in the trailer, there's a toilet running around. He's picked up a poo character and shoves it and flushes him away. Yay! And everyone's really happy about it. And everyone's constantly, literally with ha 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 written on there like psychopaths. It's a weird game. As I say, if you haven't seen it, it's literally about meeting characters, making friends with them, holding hands, and then lifting up your hat to reveal a bomb, and everyone wants to be exploded by you. They're very sad that you haven't been. Could we all explode together, please? It's fucking weird.
With a gorgeous soundtrack.
Yeah, very
which,
cool
which
soundtrack.
really kind of channeled that kind of Katamari sound, but different. That's,
I'm just hoping it's more fun than Nobby Nobby Boy.
Yeah, well, Nobby Nobby Boy was a toy more than it was a game.
I mean, I still think this would be quite toy-like, but with a little bit more.
Yeah,
like
I expect like objectives and things.
Yeah. Nobby Nobby was just there weren't enough interactions to make it interesting in the long run. Most of the time, it was just stretching.
Yeah,
which isn't that captivating for more than an hour or so. Okay, then we saw a new game because Sam put these notes on.
Yeah, I just gave you a list.
Arise, which is he described it as a Viking version of Journey.
Yes,
which isn't a bad.
I don't know. Like, I got very Journey vibes from it.
Yeah.
In terms of what they were showing in the trailer and the way, not so much the art style, but a little bit. Like, it's very cartoony.
Certainly, it feels like the character will be going on a linear emotional adventure that seems probably quite minimalist in its storytelling. Yeah. So that I think Journey is fair with that. Yeah, I mean, like the art style was not like it's kind of soft and cartoony, but things like there was giant sunflowers he was jumping on and stuff like that. Like, so it didn't have the minimalism of Journey, but other than that, I think it was probably pretty fair. Gave me that feeling. It looked nice.
It did.
Yeah, didn't really have much else to say about it. The LA Noire VR case files launching on PS4. In fact, they've already launched.
It exists.
I'm always impressed.
They'll go on sale one day.
I'm always impressed by how much like bang for the buck they got out of that game. They just keep rolling that thing out.
I think it sold pretty well on Switch from what I hear. Then they showed a little VR montage, and there are a few games in there.
A lot of things
of note, Gorn is now coming to PSVR, which I've been wanting to play for a long time.
That's like the melee combat one.
Yeah, melee combat gladiator fighting game. I think did Devolver publish it?
I think so.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's hyper violent but cartoony violence. Space Channel 5 VR, which that'll be fun to see how that interacts. But a game that because did you see this montage at all, James?
No, not this.
There was a game called Stardust Odyssey. I said, oh, this looks like
that caught my eye.
There's things that James like and Paul likes together. So this is a space flight VR game in a super colorful, almost surrealist world. So it's got James's love of cockpit flying and everything, and it was not like an action based thing. It was more exploration from the looks, and it's got Paul's love of like Vangiers and something like that, where it's like this weird biomechanical ship where you're like moving the controllers around and stuff like that. This looks really nice. It's really nice.
It does look very pretty.
And I looked it up, and there's shit all about it. I found one article where there's a little bit more information about it.
It definitely caught my eye.
I was like, that's my highlight. Stardust Odyssey. Let's get into that. Then MediEvil, Civilization 6 is coming to PS4
with both expansions as well. Which is a very important part of that. I hope that this means the expansions are making their way to iPad or iOS as well, because I think the first expansion and Switch as well. Because Civ 6, that game you really want the expansions to kind of get the full experience.
Civ, I don't know what 4 was like, but from 5 it was like it's not. It's a terrible game unless you have the expansions.
It's not as bad as 5 was, but still the game is significantly better with both the expansions.
They definitely improve on it.
Yeah.
So. How about a mode for Civilization, which is sort of like a Back to the Future mode, where you've got to play through history, but any deviation from real history causes things to start fucking up, and you've got to force it back.
Like the butterfly effect.
I was thinking...
You're trying to keep it on track with the real timeline. And
no, Rogue, you have to burn!
I thought you were going forwards. What about a Civilization game where each era is a different Civ game? So you go from Civ 1 to Civ 2 to Civ 3.
Like Evoland of Civilization.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good pitch. We've got some good pitches today.
I'll send that to Sid Meier.
Untitled Ibis game. Evo Civilization. Yeah. It's good.
Civ-Evolation.
Ooh. Death Stranding's got a limited edition console coming out. A new sticker on a console. Carl hates when I say this.
Different color of a controller.
They have a transparent green controller, like the baby thing.
No actual baby in it.
No, you can just see the rumble.
That really would have done it.
Yeah.
Sorry, BBs.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah, well, he was very creatively called them BBs. After Party is launching on October 29, which I'm happy about because I've already got it pre-ordered. You know the only thing that I started feeling regret from my pre-order of After Party. Not that I have any doubt. I'm interested in the game still. It's like, oh shit, is this going to come out on Apple Arcade?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Could I have got this for free?
Yeah.
Because at the moment, we'll get to Apple Arcade later, but God, if I bought all the games I'm enjoying that, it's already saved like $150. Like, not that I would have bought them all at once, but yeah, shit, lots of games. don't care about that. Oh, and then The Last of Us 2 trailer. We got to see big spoiler, which everyone was excited about. But it can't be that big of a spoiler because they put it in their trailer.
Yeah.
And it's coming out February next year.
Yeah, February 21st.
Yeah, seems to be end of first quarter next year is going to be a big one.
Yeah.
What are they into?
Oh, they're just playing with a toy. It's fine.
Okay.
God, I don't know why they get weird when we're recording. Hey, little boys. Hey, look at the camera, Dusty.
Get him. Oh, here he is. What's he got?
He's got his leopard.
It's a very dead leopard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's dead leopard.
He's good at
The lesser known cover band.
I'll just sit down at the table. That's all good. What should we do next, Dusty? I think we should talk about Link's Awakening.
Sure.
Bum 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 bum.
The game I didn't
bum,
buy.
bum, bum. So, Link's Awakening is a remake of Link's Awakening.
Yes.
Originally on the Game Boy, now on the Switch.
I
Come on
have
down, Dusty.
fond memories of this game.
I have never played it before.
Yes.
That's interesting then.
And you
So
never
then
know.
there's going to be you have your rose tinting and
I-
Paul does not.
Yes. So, I am really enjoying the game. I had a hiccup at the beginning.
Hiccup?
Yep, right away. It said, go down to the beach because you've woken up on a beach and some people have rescued you. And it's like, oh, there's some shit on the beach. Go get the shit on the beach. And I go down to the beach and I don't have any weapon or anything. I have a shield. And I can see where my sword is. And there's some spinies in the way. I'm like, okay. So I spend 10, 15 minutes trying to like kite an enemy into them or something or push something away and go like going back and talking to every single person in the town like what the fuck is going on. You can just hold up your shield and push them away.
Yep.
The game never taught me that.
Nope.
And it's not a mechanic that's in other Zelda
That's a very non-Nintendo
So-
thing to do because Nintendo will normally spend 10 minutes just teaching that
Yeah,
pushing
yeah.
mechanic.
Here's the thing I like about Link's Awakening.
Uh-huh.
Especially since it was actually my first Zelda game.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which made all the other Zelda games very different for me.
Yes, and that's an interesting way to come to Zelda as well.
It's not a traditional... Like, it's a traditional Zelda game that subverts all the mechanics you've learned in Zelda games.
Yeah, I mean, it still adheres
A
to a
little
lot
bit.
of
It
things.
adheres to all of the core gameplay.
But other than the fact that they didn't...
And does a lot
Ti-
that just...
Yeah.
You don't think of as being a Zelda thing.
They could have taught me with a little... like something,
There's not a lot of
something
teaching
a little
that
bit more
goes
to do
on.
that. But once I knew that, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I know that this isn't... I know that this is a 25-year-old game, that they didn't come back and update this stuff to make it a little bit more direct. I know it's a period of sometimes archaic sort of adventure game mechanics, and I'm going to prepare myself for that. And because I had that in mind, I haven't really had any trouble again. I have had some wild adventure. There is in this game a long, I guess call it a treasure quest, I guess, which is just taking an item to one person, getting another completely random fucking item,
It's a trade
and working
quest.
out where to go to the next one. And you know what?
Okay.
Stupid old adventure game puzzle. Loved it.
So, okay, so because I mentioned I hadn't bought it, and the
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
I hadn't bought it and I decided to kind of pass it
Uh-huh.
was that Zelda is a game that whenever I play one, I feel like I should like it, but I don't. And not that I think they're bad. I think they are very good games, but just not to my taste. And so when I saw this new one, I was like, oh, okay, like it looks like a good Zelda game, but I know from experience I don't really get into them that much. But is that wrong? Like, is this thing actually different enough?
I think
from
it depends
other-
on which bit you don't like. Probably.
Yeah.
It at its core, it is very much a Link to the Past Zelda game. It's
And
very
it's-
much
it's also-
you go to the temples. Each temple is its own little dungeon with the rooms. And you go through the rooms. You find an item in that dungeon that helps you get through the dungeon and fight the boss. And you get the item at the end, and there's like 7 or 8 of those.
Yeah.
It's still core Zelda gameplay
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, it's also probably
Very-
the easiest Zelda there is. There's
It does
not a
like to
whole
tell
lot of-
you where to go. Kind
Yes.
of.
So
It tells you where to go.
So unlike where we got to the point with like Link Between Worlds where it's like, do what you want. This is back when it said like, you do it this fucking order.
Yeah, it's very
Ah,
linear.
yeah,
So when
it's
Al
very
comes and
linear.
says like, no, go to this place in the southeast, do that one, and I tried going somewhere else and I went, not this one, go there. But at the same time, don't tell you to get there. And sometimes that can be a weird adventure game puzzle.
And sometimes you need an item when you get there that they just don't mention.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like, oh, I've got to go somewhere else first. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on.
Yeah, at the
There
moment,
is-
I'm like, I've scoured the entire map, but I just don't know where to find the key to this. I think it's the second last dungeon. I'm like,
that sounds like something that'll piss me off.
Maybe I haven't spent a lot of time.
It's very. I've made use a lot because it's got the Breath of the Wild map markers, the pins, where you can pin all the different icons on the map.
So if you see something that's like, oh, I don't have.
So if you're like, for example, like I've seen spots, and I know it's a Zelda game. I'm gonna get a hook shot. I have now, but before I got the hook shot, I was like, I know I'm gonna get one. I've seen this area. That's clearly a hook shot area. I mark it with a triangle. Triangle's hook shot now.
Yeah.
Mark things with a heart because there's a heart piece. Or
Works in the dungeons as well, because one of the things I found, because there's staircases which take you to different staircases, but there's no indication of what the path is, so I just open up the map and go.
Yeah, they don't tell you which one goes where.
So you use little symbols to go where they link up.
So it's really, really good user friendliness with that.
So I think if you use that a lot, you don't get that lost.
Yeah, the bosses are.
Is that good game design, or is it just
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I like being able to physically mark things on there because it's like the Breath of the Wild thing where it involves you a little bit more, having that light map making. I find if you mark literally everything, it sometimes just becomes a shopping list.
Yeah.
So I think there's a nice middle ground because the only thing that's like when there's literally nothing to, when you get like a really really vague map where it's just boxes and there's nothing to remind you of what anything is, that's what probably pisses me off the most. But even with that, if I could mark stuff, not too bad. I like having a little bit of interaction in there, even just like you notice something weird, someone says something. There's one of the things I noticed that. There were a few quests I heard people complaining about, and I just realized that because they're like, "Oh, it's so random. Why would that character have moved there?" There was one in particular. I'm like, "Oh, because literally, if you'd just gone beforehand, they tell you.
They mention it.
They tell you exactly where that character's going to be."
The characters in the game change their voice, their text lines a lot.
Yeah, like as sort of as soon as there's any plot, basically everyone's sort of got new lines.
Any progress,
and you can walk around and chat to everyone again, find little secrets. There's so many little secrets. I feel like they've got. So basically, I feel like I'm about 3/4 of the way through the game at the moment. Very close to the end. And suddenly, I've just started noticing all this stuff around that I hadn't noticed before. Like, oh, I can go under that? And then suddenly there's another character underneath there. And it's weird. Sometimes you go down and it turns into a side-scroller. And, like, there's never anything taxing in there. But it's like, oh, there's side-scrolling sections in this game, which is very strange. And sometimes there's story-based side-scrolling things. And there's, like, races and strange... And lots of weird characters, and it's not you fighting Ganon. It's its own entire thing. It's kind of
Chain Chomps, Goombas.
Yeah. There's all
Kirby
the Mario
shows up.
stuff in it.
Yeah. Kirby is in it as an enemy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen Kirby.
Yeah, in one of the dungeons you'll encounter him.
Oh. Also, you get companions. And multiple times in the game, people go with you and they have abilities.
Okay.
It's like
they just follow you around.
Yeah. At the moment, I've got. Well, I can't say. I think it might be a spoiler, but just like you get cool things that mix up the gameplay, and this is not things I'm used to in the. Every Zelda mixes things up, but it still has sort of that core. This one messes with that core quite a lot, especially for a game that is quite old now, and they haven't updated. And pretty much the only thing that makes me go, oh yeah, this is an old game, is when you get those really archaic adventure game things. It's like. Yeah, that really is just like you wanted someone to have to go get a guidebook for this. Even those aren't too bad. I've worked them all out myself.
And only one of those trades is required to actually progress.
Yeah, well, that's what I think, because I think that long trade thing.
There's one point that's required. The rest of it is a good idea, but you can complete the game without doing it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of optional stuff in it, which is also nice.
Given that it's based on an old game, does it have any like really frustrating like progress things? Like, do you lose progress for dying or really long dungeons?
Basically nothing. When you die, if you're out in the overworld, but like I go like a screen earlier, if you're in the dungeon, you just go to the beginning of the dungeon, but at the point of the dungeon you are. So you still have all the items.
No reset.
Yeah. So you have all the items, have everything. It's basically just an easy way to get a health reset sometimes. And the bosses, are like really creative and fun, but really easy.
Yep.
Weirdly, the mini bosses, because each dungeon.
Some of those are harder.
Those are much harder than
yes, they are.
But also kind of, it's a really creative.
They've done a few things with the bosses that are actually different from the original.
Oh, did
too.
they?
Yeah. So they've kept the core. Like the way you beat the boss is still the same, but they've added a couple extra mechanics in. To some of them.
So I saw because I was interested to see if in the game there's a boss that you sort of have to you have to separate.
Yeah.
Was that in Game Boy? Because
Yes.
it seemed like it would have been difficult to do with Game Boy technology.
I can't remember correctly that one exactly. I think it was a similar way of beating it, but it wasn't like
Maybe not
exactly
quite as
the
impressive,
same method.
Because it was...
Yeah,
it's like,
that
this
took
is
me a
very
while to do
fluid.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually...
The methodology's there, but
I was
like,
gonna
the
say,
way you do it is probably
that
different,
one,
I think.
That one I probably beat in like 20 seconds. Because I was sort of like... It's one of those things where it's like, wow, this is creative, but also...
Obvious.
Of like, as soon as I sort of like...
I knew
know
exactly
how
what to do.
And I pull it off, I'm like, oh, okay. It's like... kind of wish that was harder somehow. But still, like, I really appreciated the work that went into it, so... and not like I really need tough games to beat.
You got so many to play, Paul.
Exactly. So the downfalls with it. Graphically, I really, really like it.
It does have frame drops.
It does. It does. Get
In really
choppy.
weird places.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Normally, like when it's loading a new area, like something in the overworld, probably more than others. But then just like just weird things you don't understand. It doesn't affect the game at all because it's not a game that relies on
Not
that
like a
kind
Twitch
of
game.
Yeah, but it does. Sometimes it just gets back up to its smooth frame rate. You're like, oh yeah, that's how it should feel.
Yeah.
So it just irks you now and then, like, especially because it's like whilst it's very attractive, it also looks very simple. So you sit there with that little jerkiness, going, why?
Yeah.
Why aren't you just smooth the whole time?
I've noticed it happens more often if you move to a screen that has a lot of grass.
Oh, yes. There's some impressive grass in the
It's-
game.
I don't know if they've like individually animated and rendered every little blade on those patches of grass, but
It's important. What else is going to hide them rupees?
yeah.
And then also, as you get along, it has all the like nice quality of life things where there's lots of collectibles, and once you get about half of them, it says, "And here's the sensor to find the rest," and stuff like that. So it's actually a pretty user friendly.
So the collectibles, the seashells, there is twice as many as there were in the original.
Oh yes, so that's an addition.
So it's, and considering that I was aiming to get the thing you get if you get pretty much all of them, I'm now looking at that and going, maybe I don't want to do this.
It's a really impressive little package, and I find it interesting because a lot of people are bringing up the arguments like, is this a full price game? A 25-year-old Game Boy game with a facelift? It's like, it's all very fucking arbitrary, isn't it? it's like, if the Switch didn't exist, they would have made this project probably on the 3DS, and it probably would have been a 3DS price game instead of a console price game. But it's not. And that's what
no, like the production value looks pretty high. Like,
it's a full-blown Zelda
and
game.
it's a full Zelda. Like you get a lot of hours out of it.
We're getting into, I suppose, we keep mentioning coming up later. I kind of like it. We'll just tease it for the whole episode now. Apple Arcade is like, a lot of people will just discount it because like, oh, the mobile game's like, well, they're full game fucking games.
Yeah.
That game costs $35 on a Switch. It's on mobile though.
Doesn't count.
It's not worth money.
It's free. I'm getting it for free, Paul. It can't be good.
Exactly.
Making me sad. Hey.
Okay, yeah.
The only other thing I would like to add on Link's Awakening is that it is nice quality of life in that a lot of the items you get are no longer, you don't have to assign them to the 2 buttons you get for items.
Oh yes, I couldn't imagine playing like that.
So on the Game Boy, every single one of those items you get has to be assigned in traditional Zelda way, to X or Y, and those are your 2 item buttons. You're spending most of your time in the menu swapping to an item you need. Yeah. Whereas they at least use the shoulder buttons on this.
Yeah, so because in the original,
your shield's on a shoulder button, your sprint's on a shoulder button.
Yeah,
there's a few other things that are like just built into the controls.
Someone was saying that you needed to like put on like the bracelet.
The bracelet
to
to power an item, whereas
like,
now they just
it's
passive.
On. It's just on all the time. Because why would you need to equip such a thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of
it means that
makes it a lot nicer to play.
I really only have one item that I have to switch because one of my buttons is always
permanently jump,
which is a jump button. Because it's a Zelda game with a jump button that's used all the time. It's like
you just jump over enemies.
Yeah, exactly. It's like because enemies respawn quite quickly. As soon as you move away, they sort of come back. But you don't have to fight. You just jump over them. It's fine. Just jump. And it made me think, especially like there was one boss where I was like jumping in and then hitting him. Like, fuck! If I played this on Game Boy, would I have had to jump, pause, menu,
swap items,
swap to the bomb, go back?
You need like 3 items. Yeah, pretty much.
Like, oh fuck me. So yeah, I think the changes have been good because it feels as most of the way a completely modern game.
Yeah,
very good. Okay, so James, why don't you tell us about Borderlands 3?
Oh yeah,
because I can't.
Yeah, so why can't you?
It's my PC's crap.
Yeah, you've been having a sad time.
It's my computer's. I can't complain too much because it was free for one. It was.
Go on, give it a shot.
It was a free. Like I got it for free. It was an almost new Alienware Like, it was 2 years old and had spent 1.5 of those years on a boat to and from China, but it was free. And it basically not been used. So I can't complain too much. But in the past 6 months, it's been degrading. And like noticeably, I used to, like I play Overwatch a lot, still do. I used to run it quite nicely at, 2K, nice and smooth, 100 and whatever frames a second. And now I have everything set to the lowest. It's running at 1080.
It's on the way out,
Full
buddy.
screen. It's on the way out. And like my goal is new PC build for Cyberpunk. I may be bringing that deadline forward slightly because I bought Borderlands 3 and I can just about play it at 720 on lowest settings.
Yeah, so this is not a slight on Borderlands 3 performance-wise because
this is purely my
purely
PC.
Your PC. Even though there have been some performance issues with it. Borderlands 3, apparently a big release.
It's over 5 million copies on PC.
Sold a lot.
Hey! I need to do that with our jokes. Our jokes where Borderlands 3 is a disaster. Runs terribly for everyone with no exceptions. It has a built-in keylogger and it shoots your dock.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love how
That's
much.
what Paul wrote.
Yeah,
that was the internet rhetoric.
Yeah.
I discovered this week a lovely community on Reddit called Fuck Epic. They're all very reasonable people,
of course.
And they were all convinced that Borderlands 3 was like the biggest failure of a launch of all time.
Oh no, it's done well.
No. You know why they're not releasing? You know why they're not releasing the numbers? Because it didn't sell any copies. Epic bought my copy to the Pirate Bay. I go, yahoy. So anyway, 5 million copies plus so far. Yeah. Then what I loved after that, they had to reshuffle. Shit.
Let's find something else to complain about.
How do we say it's a failure when they've sold more than any of the other games at launch? It's not sold. It's bought by the distributor.
Oh yeah,
because they think that
4 million copies sold.
Digital copies work that way.
EB Games bought all those copies.
Yeah, well, they were convinced that Epic had bought 5 million copies.
Oh, and they were just sitting on the keys.
They just got they've just got an Excel document of keys.
That's how it works.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. So I've played quite a lot of Borderlands now. I think I'm about 14 hours in, 15 hours in, something like that.
Good chunk.
So a good chunk. And when I first loaded it up, I was very lukewarm on it because it starts off on Pandora, and while like the gunplay feels a lot better, the movement feels a lot better.
You can mantle and slide.
Which makes a massive difference.
These days, it's kind of expected.
Yeah. So like, it feels a lot to me like probably Apex Legends. That's sort of the kind of mobility I've got. But the actual what I'm doing feels very samey.
It starts off as Borderlands 2, right?
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. So it's like the same kind of missions and the same environment. The progression's the same. The abilities I have are kind of similar. The guns are doing kind of similar things. So yeah, it feels very much like this is like Borderlands 2.5. So I'm like, okay. And the humor's not landing quite with me. Like the enemies, like the main villains are no Handsome Jack, but no one else is Handsome Jack. Like I don't see how they can top.
For a second, I thought one of their names was No Handsome Jack.
Yeah, no. There is
Ugly Jack.
There is like Handsome Jackie in there. It's like a side boss or a little side kind of like enemy you can find.
There's a Penn and Teller boss as well.
There is, voiced by Penn and Teller. Well, Penn, but
no, Teller came in.
I don't think Teller was in the room.
The whole boss is like running a big magic show.
Nice,
that's great. Yeah, it's Pain and Terror, I think.
Is that okay? Cool. That's cool. So it sort of starts off at about Borderland maybe 2.5. I feel like now I've played it more. It gets to like Borderland 2.75. Like it's the
Pathfinder of Borderlands.
Yeah, like it's a game that for something that was in development for 7 years. It feels like it's very iterative in what we had 7 years ago. And it's not like things have to kind of push themselves majorly forward. And as you go further along, the planets start to feel more varied. Like particularly when you get to like asteroids and it has low gravity, so that kind of changes things up a little bit. It's probably not quite as bouncy as pre-sequel, but like it does kind of mix it up a bit. Having the different gravity. The guns start to get a bit different. Like I start noticing more of them. Some have abilities like can shoot a homing puck, and then it turns into like the Zod gun from Fifth Element, where it's got homing bullets. And stuff like that.
One of the things they added in this game was different planets.
Yes,
but how significant are the planets?
So. Like, this is where, like... Because when you're on Pandora, it all looks the same.
Uh-huh.
But I remember when I last played on like Borderlands 2 starts in the snow.
Yeah,
Whereas
you have multiple biomes.
Yeah,
on Pandora.
whereas this time it's like they could have done all this on Pandora.
The biome is another planet.
But the biome is just on another planet. I mean, they do feel mechanically different to get around, especially like you start on Pandora and it's all kind of big open areas, lots of rocks and canyons and things, and the next area you're on a planet. A city planet, and so now it's like more you're driving on roads, learning your way around, going into buildings. Like it does feel different, and I'd say more different than the different biomes felt. But not massively. Like I feel like there could have been a city on Pandora, and I just went to that city. Like I don't feel like I'm getting a lot out of.
So it's more planets because their storyline requires it. Than for any
and
other
at least
reason.
so far where I am now, there hasn't been a lot of going back. I think I've noticed that as I played through, there's things I can't get access to yet. So I know there's going to be things, go back to the different planets and kind of things like that. The boss fights have been pretty good. The one I'm at now is probably the shittiest one. But so far the boss fights actually have been pretty decent. The boss fight that I am on now, I actually found a really interesting way to fight it. And this level was someone's mansion. And this, I guess, is an example of like it does get a bit different in the environments you're in. This is like a massive mansion where you go into the libraries and the studies and like dining rooms and things like that. And this particular boss fight, I figured out I could kite this boss. And so I was actually just pulling him from room to room, and every room I went in had like a different layout and it changed the feeling of the boss fight. It's like, this felt really cool.
Almost,
unfortunately, this wasn't what I was meant to do. I was meant to stay in this one room, and by pulling him out, eventually I broke it. And I had to actually like abort the fight and start again. So I feel like it does want me to kind of keep to like this particular style that it's trying to do. I don't know. Like I enjoy it. I think like where it really feels short is the
stupidest dog in the world.
I threw his leopard over there. He didn't see it, and now he's like, "Where the fuck is my leopard?" Sorry, I am listening. He's halfway there.
So.
No, he turned back.
Like, well, the gunplay is definitely improved. The classes are definitely improved in terms of like you get different abilities. There's more to unlock. There's a lot more you can do with your builds, which is really cool.
Like because I've been watching a lot of Twitch streamers to get my fill. Like even watching people who are grouped up playing the same heroes, Vault Hunters, with different builds, they do seem like very different playstyles a lot of the time.
And even so because I've been playing Amara. And she is a bit she's kind of a lot of melee, like a lot of close range. But the way I've been playing, it's very, very ranged.
Just a second, Dusty found his level.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, good. The way I've been playing, it's very ranged. So it's been nice that I've had the ability to do that. I also like her character. I like her abs. she's pretty cool.
You like her abs?
Yeah, she's got like this epic six pack, which she likes to talk about how good her six pack is. Yeah. No, she's a very.
I mean, if I had, I would as well.
She's a very charming character. I like her. Where I feel like it's kind of fallen short is the storytelling. The way the story's told feels very much Borderlands 2, but not as good. The social features aren't there. Like, so you got the ability to jump into someone's game, but if you do that, you could actually get pulled forward.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of screw yourself and skip content. So I don't want to play with anyone until I've played through it, and then maybe in game I'll do it. Where what I'd like to see is more things like, I'm going to do a boss fight. Can I queue for this boss fight or something to like play with other people? Like they don't have any, or playing the game and just randomly like I can turn on a mode where people will get matched into me because you can matchmake for people around where you're up to. And so if I could do like turn on open game and people could jump into where I am in my quest, like just those kinds of things. That's where they haven't innovated.
The fact that they made a big deal about now that they've got the whole. Like the level matching system, and that you can jump into anyone's game at any level and it'll work, and then not giving you all the tools you need to be able to do it properly. Seems a bit weird.
And it seems like if you do want to do that, you're likely to break your progress anyway. So what you're going to do is wait until you get to the end, in which case, it doesn't matter anymore.
The other thing I've noticed is that like endgame Borderlands, which is boss farming and stuff like that. It's not even set up to allow that easily enough. To boss farm with a group of people, you have to, you quit and remake a game every time. There's no reset button in game, as it were, to do that, which you feel like there would be.
There is a social feature for like doing what I assume are dungeons. Like you can kind of queue to like do like some small quest with someone. Never had it work. I've sat in that queue or like I've just because you can just keep playing while in the queue.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Never
because
had
no
it.
one's playing.
Yeah.
It's a failure.
Yeah,
Guess
James
so.
is the only person who
I'm the
bought
only
it.
one play. Yeah, just strange. Yeah. So yeah, I like it. I'm starting to get a bit kind of like over it at this point because it's not changing enough as I'm playing through. And I really wanted those social features in because I think it kind of suffers for it. But I don't know. It's certainly not. It's certainly fun.
I think what I said to you, which was again not my original thought, it was from someone else. That is, if Borderlands was a yearly release, this would be the cool next year.
Yeah,
Improvements is good, but the fact that it's been the best part of a
7
decade.
years.
Yeah. Like it feels like 2 or 3 years, I would have been like, oh, cool. Like this is iterative.
Well, I just remember when they were first showing the gameplay demo, and they just had the intro sequence with Claptrap taking you through and showing you how to move and everything. I was like,
They shouldn't have opened with that.
I just said like,
that was a mistake.
this feels like a game from 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, like,
And there's nothing wrong in it.
Yeah.
It's just that it feels quite dated.
yeah, and that's
It's like they
especially-
designed it and then didn't change that design while they made it.
Well, I think
They made it in order.
yeah, that too.
because I think especially because you start on Pandora, and it's like you have the same thing where you
Yeah, I
spawn
feel like
in,
they could have just
you don't have your
opened with something wild.
You come off the bus,
Like, open
like-
with something wacky.
yeah, or like
Go
have
nuts.
you played this game before?
Yeah.
Yes, no. Like I get you want to have a tutorial in there or something, but maybe they just do something like Metal Gear Solid 3 did, where like you start the game and it's like, which Metal Gears have you played?
Yeah.
Which one did you like the most? And then they just like mix it up depending on like what your choice is.
You know what? Here's my pitch for the start of a looter shooter of this description. You start above the world, say in some sort of like sky bus, and you start the game.
You got to choose where to drop.
Yeah, you just drop wherever the fuck you want. The game just starts from whatever point you drop at. So everyone has a different starting point. And
Just
a
a
thing.
full open.
Yeah. It just changes the scaling depending on where you start. Yeah. Borderlands 3.
Yeah, guns are good. The guns, like, I do like that the guns are varied enough that every now and then I'll just kind of toss out what I've got because I've got some new ones that feel different. So, like, the weapons are a hero, which is good because that's what a Borderlands game is.
It'll be interesting to see the legacy of this game because, as I was saying before the show, I was sort of saying that it's only been out for a week and it's sold very well, and there are lots of people playing it. Let's not split any hairs on that. But culturally, I see nothing.
Yeah.
It has its core community, like any game does.
like,
but there's no big
Yeah.
thing about it.
Like I thought me buying this game, there'd be a bunch of my friends playing it, and I'd be able to
Well,
look
you'd
at my.
have at least one.
I'd have at least one, but
if I could.
I'd look at my list, in Discord or whatever, and I'd see like such and such is playing this, such and such is playing this.
Some of us has a real weird games next to it.
Yeah.
I have that feature turned off.
Yeah, and I haven't actually seen that. Like, I kind of expected that might happen, but
Why have you got more friends playing Aliens Colonial Marine?
yeah, well, I do. Yeah,
What's going
Which
on?
is still a Gearbox
it's still
game.
a Gearbox game. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, Borderlands 3. So I did say that we would talk about Contra Road Core.
Yeah.
So
I thought you'd forgotten.
I have.
Damn it.
That's bad. So the demo is available on at least PS4 and Switch. Probably on everything, but I haven't checked. I only know because I went to PS4 to download the MediEvil demo. So 2001's favorite game is finally here.
Do you play as a panda?
No, not in the demo. You just play as the guy, the more generic action-y guy. Now, this game is kind of amazing because it is. You remember Mad Balls on 360 Arcade?
Yes, who could forget?
So it's about Mad Balls level. It has a bit of a sense of humor about it. It's top-down twin stick, and it plays mostly okay, and then just sometimes real bad. There's a certain charm to its extreme crapness, however, that I did not dislike. I wouldn't say it was good, but I had some terrible fun with it. The thing that blows my goddamn mind is that this is a full-priced game. If this game were
20, 30?
Oh god, no, not that
15.
high.
12.
If it was 10 to 15,
Yeah.
I might say on sale. And if you had some friends, this might be a bit of like a funny laugh.
Yeah.
But it's worth getting the demo just to sort of see like what weird, like just the mismatch of like things that I normally wouldn't care about. Just like the different texturing scales in the same environment that they shouldn't be there. Just readability issues. sometimes as I say, it plays fine, but I mean,
It plays fine until it doesn't.
I can just get free games on itch that do that fine. I don't know why this exists. It looks pretty shit and it doesn't run particularly well. And I was so happy they released a demo because it let us play it without buying this train wreck.
Who's the target audience for this, do you think?
Oh, the target audience was...
Who's going to buy it?
Well, no one. No one's going to buy it. I mean, like, their best chance with, like, sort of hipsters like me...
Grandmas who are trying to buy little Jimmy a new game.
Buy it ironically.
Kind of like, it's sort of like, oh man, remember when bump mapping was new and you just put bump mapping on everything and that was the only thing you did for texture detail? I miss those days. Terrible game. But terrible in a way that's fun to talk about, but not worth paying for. So there's my review. That's my review of the full game. I feel confident in saying that. Bad enough to talk about, but not good enough to buy. There we go. I would love to. I would love to do like a deep dive into it one day if someone wants to buy us a copy, because I am not spending more than
just
I will spend $10 on this game.
Send the beautiful demo review to the devs and see if they'll give you a key.
Well, I remember years ago. Do you remember what was it called? It was Xbox Arcade or something, and I didn't know at the time, but. It was Chrome or... I think Chrome was making it.
Oh, is this the...
It was a virtual arcade.
Yeah, virtual arcade.
I
can't remember what it's called. Yeah.
And I think it was on Kotaku or something like that. And I had made some comment about, finally, what we've all been waiting for. A virtual arcade where I could go there. And what do I want to do when I need to play another game? Why, walk to the next machine. Exactly what we want. Like this. And like, okay.
With no sarcasm tags on this
at that point,
forum.
I didn't know that Friends were even making it. And here's the funny thing. So they printed out that quote because it's not like they disagreed. They were just and they put it on the wall at the office. The thing that was funny about that, they didn't know it was me. We just found out after the fact. It's like, oh, this is strangely awkward. Sometimes people... The thing is, like, I think most of the time when people are making products are a bit weird, they know it's weird.
Yeah.
They're making best of what they've got.
I remember talking to some of the devs about that whole project, and my first assumption was they would have jumped online and just gotten a bunch of open source emulators. And
kind of like Nintendo does.
Yeah, but no, they didn't. They actually developed all of
from scratch. From scratch,
which is crazy.
Why would you? Why?
Well, I think they just legally had to. Like, for whatever reason, they couldn't just go get some open source ones or whatever. They had to actually rebuild the emulator.
So painful.
And there was like a lot of supported emulators on that thing. It's crazy.
Like, the thing worked. It was just like...
but there was that weird thing where...
It was just a wild idea.
You put because you had to spend tokens, I think, to play the game.
Yeah, it was something like that, yeah.
There was a weird thing. I can't remember if it was free to play or not, but you had to buy the tokens. It was weird. It was a really... That they were trying to create
hence my significantly large amount of sarcasm.
That was around the virtual console era with the Wii, which is working really well for the Wii.
Yeah.
And this was Microsoft's answer to kind of bring in the avatars and all,
walk around a virtual arcade and spend virtual money to play old games.
Yeah, it didn't... Yeah.
Like, it only takes me 5 minutes to start a game of Galaga? Oh, sign me up.
I mean, it was no lining up to play bowling in PlayStation Home.
There was some article something the other day. It's like PlayStation Home, the most successful terrible idea ever. Like, apparently it made millions and millions of dollars.
I believe
it's financially super successful. It's like, I mean, I could never do anything in it. I don't even know how it fucking worked.
I think I loaded it up a couple of times, but I didn't really...
It took so long to even start things.
Yeah, it was a weird thing.
Yeah. It might have improved later, but I just remember, like, looking at loading screens for, like, 15 minutes.
Because that dream of, like, I'm going to invite people to come round to my
my
virtually
home, watch a movie
and we'll virtually watch a
movie
on the couch. Like, it was so weird.
Here's the thing. I do that for E3 press conferences.
Yeah, true.
Everyone, let's all get together and virtually watch this.
There's whole communities of people that do it in like VR chat and stuff like that.
I guess, yeah. Maybe they're just a little ahead of their time.
Group watching of stuff just happens.
Deep Throat. That's my virtue. just washing the dishes. Can't tell what those controllers are doing. Anyway, so things that aren't Apple Arcade.
Really teasing that Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Here's something that's not.
Cover everything.
Here's something that isn't Apple Arcade. It's Google Play Pass.
It is definitely not
It's not
Apple
it's-
Arcade.
it's-
So, what's the exact? I can't remember the exact quote. It's like Google had the courage to stand up in a crowded market and say, "Me too."
Here's my theory on what went down.
Yeah.
So, Google at some point would have caught wind of Arcade.
And apparently, Pass was actually announced a while ago.
I've heard about it a while
Ah,
ago.
was before,
I'm
was it?
sure I heard about it ages ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then my theory's out. 'Cause
Wow.
Oh, but
Not
the
necessarily.
But yeah, Arcade would have been in development.
Yeah.
So you don't know when they
so
started
Someone at
development.
Google found
What,
out.
what I think Google has done is they've gone to the store, they've looked at their many sheets of data, which is I assume how Google looks at things.
It's just the world.
Sheets.
It's just they like to look
the
at
Google,
Matrix.
the
They
Google
just-
offices is just Excel
Get
sheets
to the
everywhere.
Google sheets.
When they look at the
Google
Matrix,
Sheets.
they just like to look at the
No,
code.
it's Excel.
It's like, look over there. That's another service that we got rid of.
and someone has written some kind of SEO query to go, what are the top 100 things from all of our data that we know people are going to play? Let's contact those devs and offer them money to be on our service. And this is and that is the effort they had to put in to make this work. So, because I know people like to make comparisons to Arcade. Arcade is like this whole...
Arcade is, we've funded a lot of new dev.
They have created a lot of new products. There's a lot of work that's gone into that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Google one when their big games are KOTOR twice. I think they mentioned that one. Terraria, Stardew Valley. Like these are all things which are already on there. And as a service, I think it actually looks decent. But
I mean, it's only $2 a month, and you get access to 500 games and apps.
Yeah.
Including apps also made it a bit weird.
So having apps on there is an interesting choice.
But I do not think it is a fair comparison.
No, because
between these things,
none of these
they're
things are like
different things.
exclusive things or anything, or made for the service. They've just simply said
Yeah, they exist, and now they're on.
they exist. They were premium titles, and now you can access them for a service fee instead of that.
I think
And also launching with so many is, I mean, even Apple Arcade launching with 50, which has now gone up a bit to closer to 70, as you said. It's like that's still way too much. Again,
choice anxiety.
Yeah. I actually kind of wish they hadn't done that. I would be happy for them to do
Staggered.
30,
Staggered release.
and then because they have said I think they're going to do 10 a month or something. So there's still going to be stuff regularly coming out. But that initial release of I think because they had their first beta release, and I think there was 50, and then a few days later it jumped up to 69 or something. And that's a lot. There's there is stuff that yeah. Anyway, we've got on to Apple Arcade. We should
nope.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that yet, right? That's for later.
Nintendo.
So, hold on. My favorite thing about Google Play Pass is that I can pay for it using Google surveys.
Oh, I've never really done this Google survey thing.
$2 a month. It's easy.
That's real cheap. I
can get $2 a month just from the surveys they send me.
Man, that's
easy.
That's really not much money to go to any of
I
those.
can just pay nothing and get all these
those
things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a problem.
Yeah.
How much? And that's going to be the problem with
I
Apple
almost
and all
feel
these
bad.
things.
Yeah.
It's because I would like to know the business behind all these things. Apple Arcade particularly, and whilst James even is involved in a game on that service, he's not business side, so he actually doesn't know either.
I either don't know or can't say.
Yes. Either way,
it's some combination of
it's
those two.
the same. And I would like to say this, as James is my longest and best friend, if he can't say, then he's a real dick if he hasn't told me in private, and I have asked. So
no, I actually legitimately don't know much.
That's what I see.
Every NDA James signs, you're just on there.
I just remember one of our old friends at Chrome. It was like, oh, we've got a new license. And we're like, oh, well, what is it? He's like, I can't tell you. I'm like, fuck you.
Don't tell us that you have one then.
It's like, do you really think we're just going to run to the forums? And then I remember finding out what it was for another meeting. I'm going to run to the forums. Hey, Kotaku, hot scoop. They've got the Fat Cat license. Fat Cat's back.
Finally.
Well, here's the real twist in all that, James.
Yeah.
Fat Cat never went away. Fat Cat still is.
Where?
He is a major mascot in Western Australia.
Huh.
Really?
Yes, Fat Cat still exists.
Okay.
Yes, because I looked him up a while ago. Like, what happened to that? I looked at. Probably the search was Fat Cat a pedophile?
Well, that's why I thought Fat Cat died, because this is my very vague
these
memory
are
of
the
it.
urban legends.
The urban legend of Fat Cat was that the guy who played Fat Cat did some bad things and had to kill the character. And I even have a memory of a funeral for Fat Cat. But I think this is all fabricated in my brain.
Yeah. Well, because Fat Cat was always the cheap ripoff of Humphrey. Yeah. But turns out, like, Fat Cat actually had a longer, like, larger legacy, but mostly based into a channel that was in Western Australia. So while he spread nationally, he then just receded back to Western Australia.
That says a lot about Western Australia and its connection to the East Coast, doesn't it? Like, it's so disconnected from us.
I wonder if there's literally a show on still, because I did look this up a couple of years ago, but still it was way beyond what I thought. I thought he was gone 20 years ago. So, Fat Cat, let's look him up. He's having a good time. Remember Couch Potatoes?
I'm so confused.
Oh, yo, do you not
you
know
don't know Fat Cat at all?
Oh, well,
I'm British. I've lived in this country for a long time, but
Fat Cat
certainly not long enough to know all that stuff.
Do you know Humphrey B. Bear?
I know that, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
I think the same thing, but
a cat.
But a cat.
Like, all you've said is, to me, that makes me understand what you're talking about, is the name Fat Cat. The fact that it's some kind of TV thing, and the person playing him may have been a pedophile.
No, that's just urban legend.
I know exactly what it is, because that sums up most of the weird kids' TV things. Like, okay. Every country's got one. Here we go. This is Sam's introduction to... Oh, what?
There's Fat Cat.
That's Fat Cat. What
it's
a
not even a
beautiful
cat.
mascot. What do you mean it's not a cat?
It's not a cat.
It's got whiskers, it's got ears.
It looks more like a bear than a cat. Come on.
Yeah, but there's already a bear.
It actually is a pretty terrible cat.
You guys. Leave Fat Cat alone.
One of those things. Okay. Childhood mascots. That probably shouldn't be.
It's like, they originally made him as a bear. Like, and they're like, oh shit, no, we can't.
There's already a bear. Stick
Can
some
you
ears
change
on
to
him.
a cat? Let's just rip off the ears.
Stick
put
on
some
your
pointy
ears.
ears on. Done. Now a cat.
They just cut the bear's ears into triangles. Yeah. Interesting.
What are you looking for there,
I was
buddy?
looking for more Fat Cat facts.
I find
it's not the time for it.
I find it more interesting that James has both repressed and like made up memories about.
Yeah,
Fat Cat.
I know, because it was all urban legend sort of thing.
No, it's great. I've got because there's a
like we had Dougie the Pizza Boy, aka Dougie the Druggie.
Yeah,
but he legit did drugs.
There's a new show I started watching on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but it's just about explaining brain shit.
I've got a show to talk to you about on Netflix after this.
So and one of the made up memories are
and one
weird.
of them was memories. And
there's some weird things going on.
Your
there,
memory is so wrong.
It's not reliable.
So
unreliable.
wrong. The amount of people, one of the worst things in our like judicial system is the fact that eyewitness testimony counts for so much.
It shouldn't. Yeah.
Like, we should not.
And
it should not count for shit.
It's not just the thing like of how wrong and how made up things can be. It's how easy it is to influence someone's memories.
Yeah.
Like, that's the bit that gets me.
Yep.
It's so easy to convince someone to like say something and believe it.
Yeah.
And that's always the thing. It's like you get accusations against people come up decades after the fact. And it's so hard to prove
a weird
the
grey
way of things.
area.
And it's and I don't want to get into anything too problematic with this or anything, but it is so like I don't doubt for a second that everyone involved here believes it. And so at that point, there's a 50% chance that it either happened or didn't, because memory's so fucked. I don't think anyone's in here for the wrong reasons, and trauma's. I'm already.
We can't win.
It's like, oh god, we need time machines.
Like we just need to replace our memory banks with actual data memory banks.
Well, if everyone had to wear a body cam from birth,
this
all these problems could
this
be
is something
stored on the cloud.
I'm actually interested to see.
And no one will tamper with it ever.
I'm actually interested to see what affects us socially in like 50 years time. The fact that we live in a society where so much is recorded.
Yeah.
Like now, like any kind of historical event, we've got 10,000 videos of people recording this shit.
Yeah.
James, people still think the moon landing was fake, and we have video of that.
and also, while big historic events, true, but then it's just like legit things that just like there used to be records of. Those records have already disappeared and everything. Like we talk about how much information we have, but I think most of the information we have is junk.
There's the Berenstain Bear thing.
Yeah, Berenstain Bears.
Like
it's
we can't rely on our own record.
And then now as visual technology and like deep fakes and things like that become easier to do.
That's terrifying. Yeah.
It's like it's not just that you'll be able to make a fake thing. It's that you'll be able to make a fake altered version of a record, and then people will believe that that's what they saw when they personally were there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, he definitely,
because the video shows it.
You remember when Lenny Kravitz squatted down, his pants split open, and his dick fell out. And then how his dick just launched off and just started like shooting spaceships in the sky. And like, I was there.
That was an amazing
I
concept.
saw it.
That's
yeah.
great.
I've watched it again on YouTube, and I do remember when it came off and went up there. By the way, that's still one of my favorite little bits. He does it so classily. He's like, "Well, dick's out," stands up, comes up with a guitar, and I'm leaving the stage. I'm like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" It's like, it's happened. It was relatively impressive. So I mean, good for him. Good for him. Good guitarist and nice penis. Oh yeah, what was the? Okay, no, something else that was on Netflix.
Yes,
that's right.
He was talking about brain stuff on
Has
Netflix.
anyone? This is brain stuff. Has anyone watched The Island?
No.
Like, is it spelled EYE land?
No, it's I-Land.
Yeah, the I-Land.
Is it an Apple thing?
No.
What is it? Because I've seen it,
What?
and I saw the name and quickly moved on.
So
Please describe.
Well, the premise is a bunch of strangers with amnesia wake up on a beach on an island, and they don't know why.
So it's lost.
Lost.
So you're doing Losty, maybe a little bit like Hunger Games or Saw or something like that. Like like something else is going on, and so it's exactly what you think it will be, except 10 times stupider. And every time it's just losing me because it's just too stupid and boring. Then they just do one more thing that's stupid enough for me to go, fuck yeah! I am slowly infecting people around in my social circles to watch this show.
You have made me interested.
And they all are like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever watched. I'm up to episode 6. I haven't finished it yet. I really hope it just keeps going off that deep end. Because it's pretty good. It like blows its load on its concept episode 3.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even hold it off for too long. But yeah, it's like sort of everything is kind of like has a written reason. It doesn't stop it from being stupid.
Yeah.
Like, why are these people like this? Script censor. Highly recommended if you want to watch utter trash.
Well, is it a good background show?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because you just look up every once in a while and go, what the fuck is that? What? How did they... Oh. Okay. Man, I feel like I want to just drop some spoilers, but it's too much.
No, you've hooked me now.
Okay. It's too much.
If you drop spoilers, James won't watch it.
Yeah, the spoilers are all good. And at least it looks like something that's going to keep twisting itself as well. So that's all we really want, isn't it? Something that just like, nah, you thought you knew the stupid thing, but it's even stupider. Wait till you find out.
We don't know how stupid we can get.
That's always the dream. Okay.
Can we talk about Apple Arcade now? Or
no.
is it still too...
Well, you cut me off before the next thing we were going to talk about, which was, we talked about it last week and literally got announced while we were recording the show, which was the Nintendo's cock ring.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
I've forgotten what it's called already.
So it's the Ring Con.
That's right. Yeah, Ring Con.
The game to go with it, the RingFit Adventure. So this is a plastic ring about the size of a steering wheel, which you can plug a Joy-Con into.
Kind of flexy.
It's bigger than
a
steering wheel.
And it's
a steering wheel of the...
What are you driving, Paul?
Well, I don't think it's that big.
And it's
It
got
looks
a...
pretty-
I think it's about that big.
And
pretty chunky.
It's got like a little leg thing.
And it's got a leg strap to put
leg
another
strap,
Joy-Con
right,
on. And with it, you play a game called... Well, I already said it. RingFit Adventure. It's a game trying to motivate you to exercise by playing a real stupid-looking game. But you are fighting a bodybuilding dragon, and that's enough to sell some
It's
people.
Wii Fit as an RPG.
Well, it was released at a perfect time because it's like it has enough time to get out and get up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And then...
When does it come out?
I thought it was just soonish.
It might be. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Look, I hate everything about this, so I did not
you
pay
hate everything.
attention.
Actually, well...
I think it looks pretty okay.
I'll look at that. You guys keep talking.
So, okay.
Honestly. I think it's a dumb idea that might work.
I'm kind of interested in some of the mechanics with the ring because you can stretch it and use resistance and everything on it.
I think it comes down to how resistant that ring is.
Yeah, if it's going to be significant enough. But if it's based more on endurance and reps, then it doesn't really matter if it's not super resistant. Look, my thing is, I fucking hate things like trying to make exercise fun.
Just gamification.
Gamification is like Zombie Run.
Yeah.
I run less now because the dogs aren't as good running with me, but I tried Zombie Run. And you know what's better than Zombie Run?
Just running?
Yeah, just anything else. It's like
Just doing a run.
It interrupted my musical podcast to tell me, "Oh no, zombies are behind you." So okay, that
Thanks.
yeah. I know some people like getting the immersion of it, but I'm just running in a park with other people around me.
I think the trick is, Paul, that you're not in the specifically for Zombies Run. You're not in the target audience of. They need something like zombies to actually motivate them to go and do a run. Of some kind.
I guess.
Like,
but
if you're already perfectly fine with going for a run or a jog,
it's not going to help.
You don't need anything to give you that motivational push.
What about these things offend you?
Oh no, it doesn't offend me.
Yeah.
It just has like very few things offend me. I just like I see no appeal in it.
Yeah.
Like yes, I'm on an RPG adventure and my character, which is just doing a running animation, which is just very repetitive, is just moving along a straight line because I'm sitting here moving my leg for a minute. It's like there's nothing immersive or interesting about that interaction to me. Like I'm all for physical games. I love.
There were
physical
ones where
games.
it looked like you were attacked by
There's a lot of different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the interactions that I saw were like, oh, okay.
They're all just straight up repetitive motions, though. It's like, this is happening now, so do this.
It's
it's trying to get you to reps to do an exercise, but it's not like. At least nothing they showed in it was like you're doing timing to do something. It's just like other than
they have a system where you,
but because they want rhythmic timing, it's like there's no skill to it. It's just push.
They had like a rock paper scissors system to it, where it's like different kind of you do different actions to do different they're weak to different kinds of elements.
But the actual depth of that just is like when you see this symbol, do this exercise.
Yeah, which is fine.
It's fitness Guitar Hero.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like the complexity of Guitar Hero.
It had more than I was expecting. Like when I looked at it,
I would have just liked Wii Fit.
Yeah, get Wii Fit. And
they haven't made it.
But they have a whole mode where you can.
There's no ring come refresh.
There is a mode in this where you can ignore all that shit anyway. Like if you just want to go do fitness activities, then there's a mode.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
See, I did tune in.
You just pick.
I didn't know they had the quiet mode in case you live in the park.
Pick which area you want to focus on.
Yeah, there's also just
does exercises.
The fitness part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I know you seem particularly rageful about this product.
No, I'm just ranting.
Very ranty about it. I thought,
I just,
it's fine.
I guess I just want more.
And I appreciated that what they're actually giving you is small, and so when you do buy it for Christmas, and it eventually lives in a closet after a week, you don't have to worry about having like your big balance board that you got to kind of move around or anything like that.
Mum's Wii Fit board still sits in a really obnoxious spot, and I don't think it's been used for 2 years.
Yeah. You could use it to reach a slightly too high shelf. If only I was 3 inches taller. Perfect.
Yeah.
I bought a Wii Fit balance board for an op shop. Never used it.
The disappointing thing is that it didn't come bundled with a vitality sensor. Although it does, doesn't it?
It does.
It's just because it actually finally used that heartbeat sensor in the
Joy-Con.
In the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
It does have a built-in...
It does.
Oh, that's right.
It just doesn't do it all the time because you have to hold your thumb up to the IR sensor.
I just wish it had been a little bit more creative. It's hard to be creative and fitness at the same time.
Well, yeah. I think it's hard to strike that balance of... I mean, about the only games I can think of that really pull off fitness and good game are like DDR or something like that.
Music games.
Just
music games. Or even like...
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber. You really build up a sweat for that. And you're right in that it would be good if you're going to make a fitness game if it had the depth of something like Beat Saber. But, I don't know. Like, it had more than I was expecting.
I just wanted something other than the bodybuilding dragon. I just wanted something weirder.
Is the bodybuilding dragon not weird enough?
No, that's what I said. That's the exception. That's the good thing. I'm down for it. Oh, but actually, no, it had the weirdest fucking thing of all. If you've not seen the presentation, look at the presentation. Because it's hosted by lizard people.
I forgot about that.
The actual video for it was...
the freakiest goddamn talent agency of all time.
I just felt wrong watching it while I was watching it. Like the whole time, I'm like, this is some weird alternate reality
I think
nonsense.
they forgot how to be people.
Old character, like on Liquid Television, where they had like solid plastic hair, and they were like,
yeah.
Kind of reminded me of them. Oh,
and then there's a good quote in there. It's for fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, and everyone else. I'm like, you just named everyone. Everyone is one of those things. Most of the time.
I don't know.
Like,
it was
single children are the ones left out.
single kids.
Single
There's
kids
a
that
lot of
haven't
single
had kids.
Yeah, yeah. It was just mothers, fathers, daughters, sons.
Yeah.
Then they get everyone except intersex.
Yeah. It's like, it's such a weird way of saying it's for the family, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it
For
is.
all the living
Like,
family.
if you're gonna have something in English
For all us fellow humans.
that comes out of Japan, do they actually make an effort to be as articulate as possible
Yeah,
for
I
the
don't know.
audience? I don't know.
It's odd.
There was
It was just odd.
It was, yeah,
I
but
just feel like
Because it wasn't even the way they were
Yeah.
saying, like, everything about them felt
Yeah.
off.
No,
like,
so-
it was slightly wrong.
so. What happened? Someone was directing them, like, but it was like teleconferencing, and they did the first thing. They're like, so here's the ring con. It's really good. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do fitness stuff, and they went happier. But then, actually it fucked up, and it was in a loop, and it just kept saying happier.
happier.
Until eventually they broke. So that's the RingCon and Ring Fit Adventure, which I'll
Comes
play
out
when
at
someone
some
else
point.
buys it because
Yeah.
I won't.
I don't think I'll get it.
I'm sure I
But
can.
you were defending
am-
it to the nines, James. You said this is my favorite thing ever. Destiny, be gone with you. I will be paying.
The new ring looter shooter.
Yeah, if they added,
Oh, if
There's
they had loot-
coins. There is
It will
collected.
have loot,
Pick
yeah.
up
Yeah,
coins
but
and
can,
loot.
can I get new
Can you
gems to put into my
you can
ring?
put stickers
to do
on
different-
your ring.
Oh, I'm
I,
sorry.
I will.
I'm there.
I'll print out
Can
some
I-
stickers for you
can I
and
get-
give you one
can
every
I have
time you
a
achieve.
purple sticker?
Only if you achieve good things.
Oh yeah, boy.
I tried to put stickers on his ring once. Scoutmaster said to stop.
It's the wrong kind of stickers then, Paul.
Wrong kind of. Anyway, now what have we got that isn't arcade?
We're running out.
Those are just games I kept playing. Oh, I have been playing quite a lot of Gears of War 5.
Yes.
It's just Gears, isn't it?
It's Gears
They
5,
dropped
sorry.
that off War.
Yeah, it's just Gears 5. I've been playing the Horde mode on Sunday nights with a group of my friends. For some reason, they refused to turn it up off normal. And goddamn, that game is boring easy. But it is fun to play with friends. Yeah, it's just like, it's solid, it works. The Horde mode has... It's funny, the class-based stuff in it, because you really want an engineer. And one thing that I found, there doesn't seem to be a way of you changing your class once the game has started. So often we've all booted in, it's like, so who's the engineer? Nobody? So we're fucked.
Yeah.
But that is kind of cool that you do have those role-based positions. All the levels have like a fun gimmick to them, like a train going through that just wipes out half the enemies if they're on the tracks, including me when I don't pay attention. So first time I'm just standing on the tracks, go like, "What's that? Why did the light going ding ding ding? And why did the things? Oh, there's a train. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, that's all good. The Horde mode seems good. The one thing I have with it is that we've never finished it, not because we're not playing fine, but because it's 50 rounds to get to the end of it.
What?
And I'm like,
That's too many.
we got up to 40 one night.
No one
and I'm
has
like,
that much time.
We're going to bed. Like,
Yeah.
we're all middle-aged men
50
playing
is
this
a lot.
game. And we're like, oh, yeah, so we'll start after all, because almost everyone else has kids. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to start at 9:30. And then it's like, well, I got to get up at 4:30, so I guess I can't stay up any longer, guys. Gears runs well, fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yep.
Horde seems good. Heard some complaints about the verses, but I'm never going to play verses, so I'm fine. Anyway, so I guess that brings us to a blasphemous update. No.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Celeste got its DLC.
Oh, yes. It's like
I haven't
a
played it yet.
significant
but
amount of new levels,
I've
isn't
seen
it?
what it looks like, and it's significant amount of new levels and new mechanics.
And new mechanics as well. Oh, fabulous.
mechanics.
And new music as well, I
New
believe.
music, yeah. So solid free update for Celeste. Yeah.
Yes, okay. So we've talked about Borderlands 3 shooting your dog. I guess we could talk about...
You're really looking for something, aren't you?
He is. He's
No, I just
he's
thought
trying
it
his
was
best.
the-
Or just a long pause.
I thought I'd leave a dramatic
Dramatic pause. Yeah.
Wait.
pause! Anyway.
I learned about those on QI recently.
I did, yes. I
The
also
latest
saw that
episode of QI.
Yes. But I learned about them from Calculon! Actually, that's a bit of a Matt Berry
It
impression.
was actually yes, very much.
Who my dog is kind of named after. His name is Toast. So Apple Arcade launched. It was... You could get it a little bit early, which James and I did, which was just getting into the iOS 13 beta, which involves clicking a button.
Yeah.
And then downloading a profile.
Yep.
That's about it.
And it is now out on phone for realsies and tvOS for realsies.
Yep.
And iPad coming soon for realsies.
Yes, but I've been playing exclusively on iPads. If you can still just download the beta if it's you want to get in, which I highly recommend. So they launched with a shitload of games, of which I have played maybe about half of them. And there's other ones that I still want to play. It's just I'm running out of room downloading, so trying to give them a significant play before I delete or anything.
What I did,
because
I had a lot of games on my phone that I just downloaded and free-to-play stuff I picked up. I went through, I deleted a lot. I went, you know what? I'm done with all you free-to-play games because I don't load you up anyway, and I only have arcade games on this now. Well, I was like, I just put them on it because there is so much there that if I feel like playing a thing.
The only games that I had on my iPad were the beta for your game and Sky.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh well, I could delete Sky actually. Oh, they need to add in controller support now that you can. Yeah. So one thing with the update, you can easily sync controllers to the iPad or to the iOS devices now. I'm using PS4 controllers. But you're using Xbox One, aren't you?
So I'm using Xbox One controller.
Just any Bluetooth
controller.
Yes.
As long as your Xbox controller supports Bluetooth, it's actually... I had to buy another one for other reasons to get like a Bluetooth Xbox controller. But yeah, that one, we'll find you won't be able to use your old Xbox controller.
Did you play Exit the Gungeon at all?
Yes, I played a bit of Exit the Gungeon.
With the button prompts Xbox prompts?
They had the Xbox... No, sorry, they had the iconography of PlayStation.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Well, at least like the X. I was trying to think.
No, because when I played it with the PS4, I was like, they've got the PS4 logo, so I didn't know.
No, actually, I think it did. I think it did actually have the
Xbox stuff.
Xbox icons on it.
Because if they've got that support, that's really cool too.
Yeah.
That it can differentiate between them.
So one of the things arcade is that not every game has controller support, but the vast majority of them do. Some games. At least if you play it on Apple TV, only have controller support. Because I was playing some Apple TV today, and Enter the Gungeon's one of them. And there was some other one opened up where it's like, I think it might have been Oceanhorn 2. It's like, you can't play this with a remote, the Apple remote, which is fair enough. Like, there's very limited control.
Like 4 buttons on that thing.
What you can do with that.
So it sort of brings us to the biggest problem with the service as a whole to me. It's the Apple Store itself, which has never been a great store in my opinion, and this continues its same sort of categorization and organization of things, which is, say, better than the eShop, which means nothing. But also, even with the 60 or so games it currently has on there, if I want to find something specific, all I can really do is load up all games, and it just chunks them on the general release date. And since most of them came out on one day, it's just it's not even alphabetical. Listed on things.
I mean, they do have some discovery features.
They have a few of them,
But
they have some genre characterization.
You want to kind of like a search for just arcade? I don't think you can.
And honestly, I just like a list view. And also, as you were saying that not all games support controller, and they have some different... So not everything supports everything. Most things, generally, because I think part of them getting on there was that they did have to have a minimum... Like, they were supposed to have a base level of features, but some things work around that. But like, I would like to show me games with controller support. It's not even listed as a feature.
At least on TV, it will actually tell you. Like when you go through, it'll say,
it doesn't on an iPad or anything.
Yeah.
In fact, I went to a third-party website to find out.
And that's partially because while technically you can use a controller on phone, it's not like they push it that hard.
Yeah, but I also think a small icon wouldn't be.
Yeah, just something would be
or a sort by
nice.
or something like that. Some games are played at touch only, but they're touch driven games. Like, I can't see how you could do it with a controller. Other than that,
if it's on see, what I want to do is find out, because I haven't checked them all on Apple TV yet, what ones, like, do they all have to support controller on TV? That I'm not sure yet, because there's been some that they've had controller support, but it's been broken. I think the one I played was like the city building one or the town building one, Outlander or something like that. But like, I was playing that with the controller, and the tutorial broke because it's like, swipe to like scroll out, and I'm like, I can't. I had to pick up the remote and do it and whatever. So I actually kind of want to see, because there are games on there because they've at least had to get it working with the remote. Yeah. So if it's on TV, they can't be 100% touch based. Yeah. Because it just won't work.
I think there's a little bit a little bit lacking in their overall quality control and doing that stuff. And I don't mind if stuff's not compatible with every thing, because it's going to, because we've mentioned the iPhone, the iPad, the tvOS, but it's also going to be on the new version of the Mac OS as well.
Yeah, it's on Catalina when it comes out.
And some of these games is like, they're portrait games made to be played with touchscreen. I don't really care if I can't play that on TV.
Yeah.
That's fine. But just have everything marked and categorized and easy to sort. And that's, I can live with that. But anyway, and also at that point, I mentioned that they just work like regular apps, which means, okay, I am using a controller, but I have no way of like navigating the general OS and launching games with a controller.
You gotta launch them and then
I've got to still use the thing to get into it. And it also, I suppose, brings me up to the other main thing I've found. I played on an iPad Mini and on a full-sized iPad 6, I think it is. Mini's okay. Fuck, the 6 is a terrible form factor to hold, to do anything with, for anything for more than 5-10 minutes. It's like, this is... Especially if you like multi-swiping and everything, it's just... It's good when I put it on a stand and use a controller.
I think that's how most people who game... Well, when I think about... you're talking about this one, right?
Yeah.
When I see people play, like kids playing it, they tend to rest it on something, like on their lap or something like that. You don't get too many people...
But that doesn't always... Not all control schemes are suited to that if it's a touch-based interface.
I think one of the things I do love about the iPad Mini is just how game-friendly it is. Like, if you do want to have something to primarily play games on, I think the form factor of the Mini is...
What would be really good would be to put a controller on either side of it.
Yeah.
That's sort of locked in there.
Maybe you could hook it up to an Apple TV.
Yeah. Put it
dock
into
it.
Yeah,
something
dock it
like
in.
that.
So I also, for the 3 video watchers... I actually got a little case for my Switch this week from Skull & Co. I'll just throw them out there. I paid for it. They didn't send it or anything. And that's just made my Switch about 80% more comfortable to hold.
Yeah.
And I am sure, because I've seen lots of fancy iPad cases, that you'll be able to get shit that have like nicer grips on them.
Yeah. Bound to be.
Which will make that stuff better to do.
Yeah.
But okay. Other than the service, talking about the games.
Yes.
Now, there are a lot of games, and most of them are very good. There's been a couple of duds in there. But we're talking about dozens of high-quality games dropped on us at once. And it's
impressive. Like, I feel a little bad for the reception of the service from the general gaming community.
It's been nothing.
Because, no one's really mentioned it. And I think...
I see some of these games because they hit their release date for general... And like they go, Overland on PC today. It's like also Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Like nobody mentioning this stuff at all. I mean, at least in the circles I move in. And I think whilst we've joked about it, like, we've got 18 months of this before it goes belly up because no one gives a shit. I really hope I'm not right, but I feel like we're going to be.
I don't know, like, because I always stick by the that gaming community is not representative to the market as a whole.
Niche.
Yeah, and so I kind of don't really care. What's really going to matter is, will my mother-in-law play it?
Yeah, that's the question, right? It's not about whether the current game community cares. It's about whether it actually introduces a whole new market.
Yeah, and I think that's what Apple's trying to. Oh, sorry.
That's right. It's just adjusting your microphone slightly.
And I feel like that's what Apple's trying to do. Like, they've already done this once with the music market. Like, they've come in and they've completely shaken up like how the thing works. And the mobile market has been in a bad place for a long time. And I really, because as a mobile developer, like, I really want this to be the thing that comes in and turns it into a platform that I can just make a fun game for.
I think
like, I'm so much, because this is basically one of the reasons I played so many games, is that the size and scope of these games is Paul catnip.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, a weird idea that lasts 2 hours. Amazing. And how many other? More than I can physically play?
And
God.
And I think they said they want to do about 10 a month, I think was their...
I mean, if they're quality we're doing, that's pretty crazy.
If they've got like this many high quality things coming out, I guess there's so much promise for this system, for this service.
So one of the things I like about it is that several of these games are basically, so there's sort of small indie sort of story based stuff, which sells a little bit, has its market, but one genre that doesn't have much market is comedy games, because comedy is hard to sell. It's like once the people know the joke, it's done. It's like hard to get money out of it. But this, they don't need to get money out of it. It's just there. So they've got games like Cricket Through the Ages,
and what the what the golf.
What the golf is a bit more of a... Actually, I'll get to what golf in a minute. But Cricket Through the Ages especially is a game I heard about ages ago. And I can't remember if it was even available in any way. Maybe it was on itch or something. But they're basically like, oh, it's amazing. It's great fun. But you'll play it like it's not a commercial product because you play the joke and it's this fun fictional story of literally how cricket was invented and how it drove our entire development of civilization. And really it is just a whole bunch of vignettes of different characters playing some strange version of cricket against each other. And it's, I imagine on a controller it's just one button you push and it's a tap on the screen. It's very, very funny. It's very sleekly put together, but not a commercial product. On a service like this, it can exist, and I assume will probably be quite popular because it'll just be you've got to check this out.
It's a good thing to show your friends.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 2-minute thing to show. Yeah. What the golf, on the other hand, so I have one caveat with this. So I almost backed this on Fig. I didn't because I think it was a little bit expensive. And now it's
kind of
like...
wish you had?
Well, no, because I got it for free on this service, and I don't think the other versions are finished yet.
Oh, really?
I think it premiered on Apple Arcade. So, like... Because I'm not in that community, I wonder how pissed off they are.
Maybe. Because I
didn't get their weird golf game.
Because I had someone tell me, that it was really good.
Yeah. Was it me?
Actually, no, I think it was Michael, actually.
I think it was Michael.
Yeah. And I think it was described, like, a while ago to me as, like, golf for people who don't like golf. Like, that was sort of...
I think that's how they describe it.
I think that was the pitch of what it is. And I don't like golf games. So it is...
Kirby's Dream Course?
Yeah, okay. I do like Kirby's Dream Course. Yeah.
Mario Golf RPG?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, 2. We've got 2.
2, yeah. But the more golf you add, the less I'll probably like it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because then Golf Story, no. I didn't like Golf Story at all.
Yeah, we wanted a little bit more from the golf.
Yeah. No, too much golf. Because mechanically, I just fucking hate golf. but I... Like, this game from the moment I started playing it, because the golf mechanics are hit a direction, hold a button for power. That's it.
I also got to say, touchscreen control.
Is it drag back to release?
It's just drag back.
Yeah.
That's the only control in the game.
Yeah.
It's I never thought of it as a touchscreen game. Yeah. It's a perfect touchscreen game.
Which is probably better than controller. Controller is analog stick and then hold down button for power. Where I can see you can have a little bit more control if you. I almost want like drag. I want the pullback on the stick.
Yeah. That'd be fun. It's like a flick.
Yeah, something like that. I did run into one problem with one of the challenges where the dead zone of vertical didn't give me the precision to aim.
Oh, really?
So it was like it was one of the extra challenges, and I couldn't do it. Like just like it would dead zone to Y up, and I couldn't get the precision to solve it. But yeah, so like golf game, that's the only controls. You don't have to get the ball in the hole. You just have to hit the
flag.
The flag. That's it. So it's very forgiving, and it's kind of a physics game, but really it's just like keeps giving you creative ways to play it.
So the first level, pull back, hit the ball, hits that. Second level, pull back, and instead of the ball going, the golf club gets thrown, and then you just hit the golf club in there, and then it keeps dialing up. Now, one of the problems I was having, it's got like a little overworld, and you pick different puzzle levels, and it was all very cute, but like it was always just hitting a thing towards the hole generally. I'm like, okay, but there's no real challenge. Like there's no par or anything. There's not much to it. And then because I wanted to get through a thing, it said, oh no, you need to like get 3 complete levels. What do you mean complete levels? And you go back, and each level is 3 levels. And it's got the first one, which is just for fun.
Yeah.
The second one, which is an actual challenge, and then a third one, which is like, fuck everything. Yeah. We'll do anything. And I'm going to give one as an example. So one of them, I think it starts with an office chair. And you hit the office chair through there. It's funny. Then you've got to hit the office chair in a certain number of hits. Oh, I think it's a race, actually. Right. You've got a race, but it's got office chair physics. Like, the physics are actually pretty good. So you're, okay, that's cool. The last one, it's called, like, moving home. And there's a truck, and you hit one piece of furniture into the truck. Then you fill the truck with all the bits of furniture. Then the truck drives off. And then you hit the house across the level to the flagpole, which is its new home.
Perfect.
I'm like, this game's fucking genius.
This what kind of terrifies me with this game is how much game there is in it.
Yes.
Like one of the things, like when I was doing teaching for like doing game dev teaching, one of the kind of the tropes of students is they'll like, oh, we're going to make this game. It's going to have 15 mini games in it.
Scope
and you immediately facepalm because like
scope.
Each of these mini games is a game.
Yeah.
Don't make a game about mini games. This is a game about mini games. And so far, like at first I just sort of be like, oh, here's a bunch of levels. No, each level is 3 mini games.
Yeah.
And
and there's a lot of
and
them.
it's just like they've just had to keep finding creative ways
and
to.
There's a daily challenge.
And there's a daily challenge. It blew my mind, this game. This was the first one. Like I loaded it up, and I probably wouldn't have played it unless it was an arcade, because I would have seen golf and gone, I'm not playing golf. Controls amazingly, looks great, and the sense of humor to it is like at one point there was a joke level where I just sort of put the controller down and just looked at it. And I was like, just smiled and nodded, and then so it's one of the tutorial ones.
Yeah.
And it's the one where like you go to shoot the ball and the hole moves.
Oh yeah. Because that's the thing. Whenever level starts, you just have the power meter.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily
You don't know.
indicate
tell you what it's going to do.
So
gonna be.
anything could happen at first reaction.
Yeah. And so, and at the end, it's like a big indent of a 1.
Yeah.
And so, you hit the hole and eventually...
And you get the hole in 1,
And the thing is, even though that joke is so goddamn obvious, I didn't pick it. and so I got it, and it's just all hole in 1. I just went, all right, put the controller down.
Well
and then I went back to the menu and I saw the name of the level.
Yeah.
And it was Wholesome Joke. and that was the point. That was the point where I'm like, game, you got me. Like this thing is a thing of beauty.
It's like it looks really attractive. The physics are just everything. It has so many mini games, but because it all works in that same control mechanism, you immediately know how to play all of them. It's got a great sense of humor, a huge amount of content. Like, I would like this game is worth real money.
Yeah,
not just free.
Yeah, but it's on arcade.
Yeah, it's on.
And
arcade,
we should mention the price of arcade is $8 Australian a month.
Yeah, $8 Australian once the free month.
And you get if you want to try it free, just it's a free month.
And also, it's up to 6 people on sharing
with family sharing.
Yeah, so it's $8 for 6 accounts to have access to it.
Jeez.
It's crazy good, and that's where we hope that it can be popular enough that it's generating enough revenue so that can help keep funding people. Because really good stuff so far. So I'm going to run through a few more games. I'm just going to pick out sort of highlights, and then I might just mention a few brief ones. Okay. So Assemble with Care, I really, really like. It's a kind of game I like, which is you play someone that's a repair woman. So it's a bit of story based, and I've completed it. The story it's fine. It's just not my sort of thing. She goes to a small town and she makes a few friends and helps them with their lives. But the actual mechanics is each level is you're a repair woman. You're here to repair devices. So it's like, okay, here is the broken telephone. Here is your tools and the spare parts. Unscrew it, pull it apart, put the things back together, and then check that it works. I really, really like disassembling and reassembling things in life. It's a satisfying mechanic, and this is very touchscreen driven with that. It all works. I just kind of wish it got a little bit more advanced. Remember that gun game, James? On PC?
Gun Simulator, whatever it's called.
And like, we don't care about guns, but you could take those things down to each individual component. Oh boy, howdy did I like that. So this is like a lighter version of that. Very nice. Like a nice. It'll take you like an hour and a half or something to get through all of it. It's nice. Sayonara Wild Hearts is on arcade. That was also a big release on Switch this last week. It's a wild, sort of lane-based arcade game, which is basically trying like interactive pop album. So it's very, very stylish. When I was watching like gameplay for it like months ago, it made me motion sick. Full game when I'm playing it, it doesn't. Yeah, it's fine. It's just very stylish, very cool. It runs flawlessly on. I've tried it on both my older because I've got an iPad Mini 2 and an iPad 6 here, which I just borrowed from work.
I should actually just quickly talk about performance. So I've been playing it on Apple TV as well, and that thing is running kind of older hardware. Performance generally really good. I've played it on iPhone stuff on iPhone 11. It's all in the Apple Store. Gave stuff a go. I'd say it's actually getting kind of comparable performance. Like I didn't think that the Apple TV would do very well, but no, actually all right.
So Sayonara Wild Hearts, really, really stylish. Really, I don't love the music so far, but it's okay. So I played it with both controller and touch control. Touch control, I found that was when I was like, I fucking hate touch control and holding this iPad. It was awkward. It was trying to drag across. I could never get things timed right. With a controller, it controls fine. And so I assume it's going to be just the same on the Switch. Because and it's fun. Yeah, I think especially if you're because it's sort of about girls, superheroes, overcoming heartbreak. Bit Sailor Moonish, a bit crazy motorcycle pop album, if that's a thing. It is now. Sayonara Wild Hearts. Okay, I'll get back to it because you've played that as well. Overland I played some of, which is another bigger game. It's a post-apocalyptic zombie survival
I played a little bit of that
game.
Today. Also, Apple TV controls really well. I'm real curious to play that game more. I like that the first level is just about escaping. So you got like that kind of little area, kind of little square. It's like quite constrained zone.
Yeah, it's like little dioramas.
Yeah, little dioramas. Way to think of it.
Which is an easy way to do it because it's like. You go on a road trip, it just loads up a little one-screen diorama for each place.
And I like that the first thing this game taught me was not to shoot anything. It was to salvage fuel, fill up the car, get in the car, escape while someone's saying, quick run while they're dying.
Yeah, while they're getting to
and I think that very quickly set it apart from, it's got mechanics that I'm familiar with in turn-based, but the goals are very different. It's good. Yeah, really
very
like
clean. And a significant full-on game as well. Like I can't give full impressions of it because I've played. I don't know how much. I haven't died yet, but I'm certainly nowhere near a goal.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I actually don't know how big a play session of this is because I've almost died, and one of my main guy is very close to death. I'm pretty sure you just continue with whoever's alive. Like your main guy doesn't have to stay alive or anything. You get up other party members. You sort of stop and you plan where your next trip will be, and you can see how everyone's going and. I said zombie, but they're not zombies. There's
they're more like monsters.
Yeah, Tremors monsters or something. Yeah, bugs. Sort of bugs.
But that one looks
yeah.
Enjoying that one a lot.
That's a real full-on game. Mutazione. Mutazione, actually, I think it's whatever.
That thing.
Yeah. So that was a game I was looking forward to, and again, it was one of those things. I was playing it in an arcade, and while I play it on arcade, the developers announce, "Oh, here's the release date. It's coming out on Friday on PS4 and PC." I'm like,
"It's on arcade."
But I still don't know if they've mentioned it's on arcade. Yeah. It's like it's their game. So it's an adventure game, sort of classic point and click. You are a young girl, and no, you're not young. I guess you're like college age. That's young for me. Basically your grandfather is dying and he lives on an island of Mutazione or Mutazione or whatever. And that island, like a tragedy happened there years and years ago. It's just full of mutants. So it's sort of like going on this strange, almost colonialist isn't the right word, but you're out of your element adventure. But it's sort of like twee and quaint, but with like really twisted world around it. A lot of the game is talking to your grandfather and gardening, and then going out and meeting people. I'm only a little bit into it so far, but it's the same devs that like Johann Sebastian Joust and Johann Sebastian Joust actually. So Johann, because I'm bad in the brain. That's why. So that's very cool so far. I'm enjoying that. So weird game, Pinball Wizard.
Which doesn't sound like a weird game.
You love pinball games.
I love pinball games that mix up what pinball is.
Yes.
And this is, you're going up a tower. It's like a roguelike pinball game. Everything is cool, except for one incredibly strange choice. You're not hitting a ball. You're hitting a wizard.
Oh, so it's literally a pinball wizard. A wizard
but
pinball.
He doesn't roll. He runs.
Okay.
He's like, oh! I wish he screamed actually when you hit it. That would be like, oh! And so I don't know if it's because they couldn't do pinball physics or they just wanted some very particular strange physics. It takes a while to get used to because he'll just like run along the wall direction? Or something. No, not that much, but just the way he bounces and reacts isn't what you'd expect from a pinball.
He's not rebounding like physics.
And like I was going up fine, and then I hit him at an enemy, and you hit them at enemies to attack the enemy, and there's health, but he just instantly died. He's like, bleh, like game over. And that's when it came out. It's like, oh, and now you can upgrade all your things. I'm like, okay, so there's on progression. I'm supposed to repeat stuff. I thought that was a bit cheap that it was a one-hit kill in a pinball game. I mean, pinball, no matter how good you are at pinball, no, you can only predict so much. But like you're fighting enemies, there's spells and stuff like that. It's very cute. But weird physics because it's wizard, not ball. Strange thing. Okay, let's see, because we're pretty much sort of showtime-ish now.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of other ones I played. Word Laces is James's game. it's a good game, and I know that because my wife, who just likes to play fun little word puzzle games and stuff, I've seen her load it up at least 3 times now.
It's good
James
retention.
hasn't
Although
even
I
had to
have-
pay you to say that.
Some feedback for you, James.
It's all right.
Your game
Yes.
says that trains are the most eco-friendly form of travel.
Okay. Not walking.
I mean, fucking walking is up there too.
Look, your feedback will be passed on, and I'll see if I can get that changed for you, buddy.
I said maybe they're just being like when it comes to like motorized transport. She was quite angry about it.
It's not trains.
I'll pass that on.
On the other games that she plays, it was like I got her onto this game Patterned, which is just like sort of wallpaper patterns, but it's like it's just a puzzle game. It's just like dropping the pieces on, but it starts desaturated, and the more pieces you put on, it becomes saturated. Like cute little ideas, shitload of puzzles in it. So I'm like, and this is all just like good solid stuff that was there. Choo Choo Rocket Universe, I guess that's another big one. Choo Choo Rocket game. It does have multiplayer, but I haven't played the multiplayer. I've just been doing the single player puzzles. They're real good. It's attractive. It plays really easily. I was playing it with a controller, but I mean, Choo Choo Rocket seems like pretty non-brainer using with a finger as well. I think Choo Choo Rocket. It's back.
I can't remember if it was
in universe
swipe
form.
to have an arrow or tap in a direction to do an arrow. I can't remember.
I mean, I remember we used to pitch it should just be like
A
hold
swipe.
and swipe.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Can't remember.
As I said, I
But
only played it with a controller.
Looks real pretty. I want to steal their overworld map. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, they've got some nice things in there. Yeah, like there was shitloads of
because
here's the one that I asked you to play. Frogger in Toy Town.
That is a weird game.
What a weird fucking game.
It feels so constrained until you land on a physics object, and then it's not.
So Frogger
It's
in Toy
weird.
Town is a new Frogger game made by Q Games.
Yeah.
And you move on a grid. You move on a grid as you always have in Frogger, except the world doesn't move on a grid.
So
Oh,
you
no.
can knock some blocks into the road, and the cars won't get through it because everything is physical. But the way you move is like
on the
it's like
grid.
kind of like Crossy Road style.
Yeah.
But like you can be on a brick that's unstable. So you've jumped onto it and
Does it-
rolls over
Yeah.
and you're stuck to that brick.
So does it then shift you off the grid, but you're still moving in a grid?
I think you kind of end up back on the
I
grid.
think
Like,
Kind
does
of
it
I think-
keep
Yeah.
you on the grid?
I think next time you move, it
It
kind of fudges
kinda-
you on, but it
that-
looks pretty natural.
Yeah, like I haven't noticed it because like by the time you get back to like a road where you need it to be grid based, it's fine. So it's just strange because like you might like get onto some books and you're on the book, top of the books, and they're moving a little bit because they're physics objects, but
Yeah.
you're still hopping in a grid.
It's so odd.
The only actual
Such
problem
an
I've
odd
had
choice.
is that because you're rescuing little frogs, and sometimes say if they're stacked on a physics object and that object gets knocked down, which you normally do to get to them, but they might like fall just slightly off the screen, and whilst you can see them in the distance, when you get in there, it won't let you travel left or right.
Yeah.
So they're actually off the play
Because you
space.
can't move backwards, and that was probably my main complaint with it. Is that like there were times where like I wanted to go back and do something.
Yeah,
But
I mean you can go
sorry.
back a few steps, but you just
But you can't
travel
like you can't
backwards.
move the screen
camera
backwards. Yeah. I don't mind it.
There's enemies to fight. and
It's
stuff.
just weird.
As soon as I play, I go
Seems like a
this
very
is-
odd choice.
This is the strangest combination I've played in a long
Yeah.
time, and I do not dislike it.
No. Like it works.
It's just strange.
really weird. Like you'd expect full analog control.
Yeah.
No, you're on a grid. It's Frogger
Fair enough.
It's
with physics objects,
Yeah.
where you can latch to a ball and the ball will roll around. Then it's
And then
not.
It's
It works. It's just
and because it's all toy themed. Like I like the sense of scale.
Yeah.
I like it very much in
Yeah.
the game. I think it looks really nice. And just when things are getting a bit chaotic, and because you can get sort of powered up when you get like 100 jelly beans or
Yeah,
something,
you can
and then you
super
just start
Frogger.
like smashing through
Yeah.
everything, and everything's falling everywhere, and frame rate's fine, and all that sort of stuff, and you're just smacking down enemies because at least most of the enemies are just these spring things. And yeah, when they knocked around and the springs just wobbling around and stuff like.
it's not going home to his wife and kids.
Yeah, it's not. So it's balls and springs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird choice.
Yeah.
But I also like it made it way more interesting than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's like this is both Frogger and something kind of original.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stand up like it's an amazing game, but I did not dislike
But
it.
it's free on Apple Arcade.
It's free
so-
on it. And again, it's like if you can start putting funding into things that are just a little bit off kilter and weird, and they themselves don't actually need to make any more money, at least from what we know of the funding model. It's like no, they're sort of like they're there and they've already got their payment worked out in some
I
form.
feel like it might almost end up working as an incubation space for new game ideas.
Yeah, and stuff
Like
that
someone's going to do something weird and it's going to go on Apple Arcade because they don't have to worry
what
about making
I'm-
money from it.
I'm
And
hoping
it'll be a
it-
good idea. And
what-
someone will be like, that's amazing.
Yeah, what I'm hoping it ends up being is like, and the example I use is Fuller House on Netflix, which there is no way that show should exist. Why? How do we live in a world where there is a sequel to Full House? But because Netflix, it does, and that's what I'm hoping to see more out of the service. Like these, like
Ecstatic
people
3.
do
yeah, like but it could like it's starting
stuff that shouldn't exist.
I mean, it's like Beyond a Still Sky shouldn't exist, but it does, and we're getting it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Hopefully soon.
hopefully soon.
Actually, I saw in the advance list that the Artful Escape is coming to it as well. Also a strong game. That's that. It's that side scroller, like music based side scroller, where they turned on all the effects in Unreal Engine. I think that was your comment back in the day. I tend to catch up with them down at PAX each year. But it's just like, and now I don't have to buy it. I can play it on that, and I can still hook it up to a TV and play it with a controller.
Yeah.
So there's actually nothing lost.
So
unless I want to play it, I like my Switch.
I wanted to mention some of the ones I've been playing as well. So one I actually quite liked was Bleak Sword.
Yeah, Bleak Sword's pretty cool.
Which is I tried to play with the controller. I didn't think it worked as well with the controller. But I like to think of it as a reductionist Dark Souls. Whereas
Is that the ASCII one?
more
ASCII-ish?
just monochrome.
Yeah, monochrome, right.
But
with
it's,
a little bit of like demake sort of.
a
little bit
It's not-
glitch.
and
not the one
it's
I'm
another one
thinking
of
of
those,
then. Yeah.
and it's another one of those kind of diorama things. So it's like you're in a small
okay.
level.
Not what I was
The
thinking of.
basic controls are kind of like tap to block and swipe to attack, or hold and swipe to attack. And
You got to hold.
The length of the hold is like a heavy or a light.
Oh, yeah.
But you kind of want to watch for the tells. That's why I say a little bit Dark Souls, because it's like you have to commit to an attack. And also watch the tells and learn how to fight things. So that one, I think there's, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've enjoyed. Bleak Souls.
Spaceland, which is like a little like mini XCOM, where you play little small bite-sized levels with very intuitive controls to fight some aliens and things. Looks really pretty as well. Oceanhorn 2, that's probably one of the bigger budget ones, which kind of like inspired by Zelda. Looks amazing. That one actually ran really well on the TV. That was the first thing I loaded up, thinking, all right, this is going to push this thing down to pretty low frame rate. Nah, actually handled it. It's a pretty solid 30. What else? I loaded the Hot Lava. That game is so weird. It is so strange.
I forgot to put it on my list because I deliberately wanted to try that because they advertise it with motion controls, and hot lava is hot lava. Like I've talked about it on the show before. I've been in the PC early access since it launched. You're running around like schools and houses and stuff, jumping on the furniture, not touching the ground because you're playing hot lava. Yeah, they advertise it really, really focused on the motion controls, but it's 1-to-1.
Oh.
And it's a first-person game, which really means the only way of actually playing this game is to stand and spin around.
Is that what? Because I was trying to play it with the remote, and I couldn't figure out what the actual controls were.
Oh yeah.
And maybe it's because I could do this fine, but this didn't really work. Maybe it's because I needed to actually
turn the
around.
whole way around.
You
Yeah,
just sit on a spinny chair.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, I get this idea, but I don't like this. This is too much for me. Like Splatoon works, but you still need that.
It's
that
more for fine
stick to
touch.
be able to move. The
theming of it confused ever-loving shit out of me.
Yeah. Because the whole action figure thing. And 80s.
Because I knew nothing going in, and it starts with an episode of a TV show, an 80s TV show, which I loved. They was really well executed. And then I started playing an action figure in a house.
It's a bit of a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
like we already have this hot lava thing. Why do we need this 80s cartoon action figure thing as well?
I didn't hate the theming.
I think it's just for the avatar.
It was just really confusing.
Yeah. I think it's just so they can have cool characters.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't because I played that with a controller as well. I didn't really feel like I wanted the master keyboard for this game.
Yeah, honestly, that's a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. Well, that one I didn't really get into so much.
I really like it as a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
game.
that's where
I didn't like it on.
That's
the
right.
iPad.
Yeah, it seemed like
Yeah, I tried playing it with just touch as well, and that was just like that. This game is not made for an iPad.
What else did I play? I'm still trying to figure out what Various Day Life is.
I haven't loaded it up yet.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what that game is. That's Square Enix's one. They're clearly they're trying some shit in that one. Like it's very different. The game is side scroller, and that's the way you move through the world. It's all side scrolling. I think some point I get to RPG combat. I think so far I've just asked someone to do it for me, and then they came back. And the title, this continues, so Square Enix. Like weird title.
What does it mean?
Like,
who knows?
Yeah, it's just various day life. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I remember it. I guess it's like I remember Bravely Default.
I don't remember the weird underwater Capcom games.
Oh,
name.
I know. I played that one. Yeah. Really like it so far.
Is it touch only? Because it didn't work with my controller when I loaded it up.
Well, this is where I think some games don't have controller support on device.
Okay.
Because I think there are some. I think that might be one of them. But I played it with controller on Apple TV. Worked really well. Kind of wish the frame rate was a little bit higher. But I reckon you'd love it. I don't think it doesn't play with scale, but it feels like it does. Because that's one of your things. You love scale. All underwater. I'm trying to figure out where the time is, because it feels like very, you play this character underwater with this weird looking helmet, and at first I thought it was going to be like modern day dude under. No, I think there's been some fall of civilization has happened. One of the early interactions.
You're right there.
I can't pick up a fucking iPad. I was going to check the names. So yeah. Just called it a Capcom underwater game.
One of the early interactions is praying to this big totem in the background. You hit this big gong. So far, it feels very Metroidvania to me. So you're kind of restricted in kind of by ability, but also in upgrades to the suit, how deep you can go. So I kind of like the idea that it's like you're upgrading your suit to have better pressure protection, so you can just sort of keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. The basic controls have this kind of nice balance of
Shin Sakai Into the Depths.
That's the one. Have this kind of nice kind of play of you've got air, and if you run out of air, you die. But to use your jets and things, you have to burn fuel to do it. So it's you kind of
you're balancing.
You got to balance. Do I want to try and just climb up, and if you climb, it's like a Zelda energy bar, or do I just want to shoot up and kind of consume more thing? And then it's if you get any air tanks, they kind of serve as giving you extra air to survive on. But if you take damage, they're like your armor as well.
Yeah, right.
So it's you lose those before you lose
resource
health.
Management. Where you've got one resource doing everything.
Yeah, it's got some interesting kind of plays on kind of different kinds of health and resource and things like that. But I love the style of it. The design of the suit. It's almost bug-like. But it still looks like a aquatic suit. And it feels to me like it's going to be a big Metroidvania. I feel like the world's going to be kind of pretty meaty.
Significant.
Yeah. I don't know. So far, that one's probably as a game that I want to put a bit of time into. That's probably one of the more standout ones. And the sound design's great. I know that this one they filmed all the sounds underwater.
I did hear about that.
Phil, I know. Phil, I made the same mistake last time. They recorded all the audio underwater, which it does the whole thing feels very kind of more lumbersing because of it. Yeah, because the game feels very sluggish, but it kind of feels like you're underwater. There's this weight to the character. So if this was on air in above ground, I would feel it's really sluggish and this kind of feels kind of crap to play. But because I'm underwater, it does a good job at selling this feeling of the restraint of my movement. So yeah, I don't know. So far, yeah, that one's been really cool. I recommend checking it out.
Speaking of Metroidvanias, the new Shantae is on.
Oh yeah, that one's there as well.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, it's part 1. Because that game ain't finished. So they're going to release the second part later, and at the same time that'll be released on the other platforms as well. So you can sort of get a sneak peek at the first half of the game.
I think I've seen a few people be like, so does this mean we're getting it at some point, soon? Because it's just dropped on Apple Arcade out of nowhere?
Yes, because did they
there's been no
news that one as well?
Yeah,
or?
I think so. But there's been no news of
Oh, maybe actually
release.
I don't know if this one was kickstarted. I know the previous one was.
I can't remember on this one.
I mean, when there's backers involved, I mean,
there's no release news.
It feels a bit
shitty. People were like, oh, it's come out on Apple Arcade. I guess that means it might get released soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. There's still other games that, as I just even still go, oh shit, forgot to talk about.
Well,
that.
and I've only looked at maybe
there's a lot of games.
A third at most of them. There is so much content in that service.
The Enchanted World, I really like. It's just this adventure game, but you've got to slide the world tiles around to make the path forward, and it's because we all hate that.
Isn't that just pipe dreams?
The 3x3 sliding tile game. It's not that. It's found its own thing, which is less frustrating.
Yeah.
So good. It's it wraps around, and you can stand on a tile, and then that tile won't move, so you can move the ones around it and stuff like that. So it's got its own ideas, and it has other mechanics that go on top. The Enchanted World, that one. Yeah,
There's so many.
Sasquatch.
So many games.
There's so many there. Yeah, like Grindstone.
Oh, I was playing that this afternoon.
Yeah,
Have you played that at all?
Yeah. It's a really stylish like match 3.
The only problem I had,
match chain.
So really, in that case, like okay, so you get a level. It's like a chain matching game, and if you get longer chains, you get this currency. You use that currency to get unlocks and everything later. And it's like, okay, well, you've got the level limit. You're allowed to leave now, or you can hang by and just grind currency, which on the first levels is insanely easy. And I felt like I could just do this forever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to get hit on this level. And then you keep going, and it becomes harder. And and it's like, if you're short of currency, do you just go back to the first levels and keep grinding them because there's no challenge there? seems like there should be a limit on how many you can get to a level because it seems to be a bit endless. Like, they get more dangerous. Like, but it doesn't matter if it's dangerous if I can basically wipe the board every move.
I just assume they'd add more currencies that you couldn't get in that level.
There are resources that you get later on. But yeah, like the animation is hilarious.
Oh, I love the art style of that.
In a very funny way. Great fun. And obviously made for the phone ratio because on the iPad it sure does just be a vertical in the middle of the screen.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. But I mean, it's 2D art. What are you going to do? That's what you've got. Okay, let's stop going through arcade stuff.
Yeah, because
we'll surely revisit it.
Forever.
The short version of it is the service so far has had a very promising start. The price it's like a phenomenal value.
Especially the free entry point.
Yeah, like if you've got an Apple device and of any kind, you might as well give it a go. Like there's really high. There's no reason not to. There's a really high quality of games on there.
Well, it's even like if you want Sayonara Wild Hearts, which is a relatively big release on Switch. I mean, for a small indie game.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Australia, that's $18. So for the price of just getting that one game, you've got 3 months of arcade with all of these other games as well that you can try.
Yeah.
So, and you can always just cancel after the 3 month anyway. So
what I would love would be to have a dock for this thing, which basically turned it into like a Switch form factor. Because then I think that it'd be a real serious competitor for what the Switch does.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I can just go dock my iPad. I don't have a cable currently, but I might just go borrow one from someone just to test it out. It's like, there's actually not too much barrier for entry to do that. And then it becomes like, this is actually a viable Switch. I went from someone that, whilst I had an iPad in the house, I don't give a fuck about Apple. I use it to play Plex, and sometimes we tried hosting the show on it. And it didn't work.
Didn't work very well.
I don't use it for anything. I use them. I set up other people's at work, but I don't it's not like having anything against them. I'm not in the ecosystem. I don't care. I'm an Apple fanboy overnight with arcade. It's really good.
I really hope this is something which does a lot to fix the problems that are with. Yeah, I mean, we've got to see what the long-term viability of it is. There's a lot of unknowns with that at the moment. But
it certainly has potential.
It has potential to be like, to hopefully, because I love making mobile games, but the mobile games that's in the state, which is very toxic and very, like, if you want to make a free-to-play game, the things you got to do kind of gross, and there's also a lot of money required to try and get it to make money, and like
if this service could just overcome the stigmas.
Yeah.
So from the gamer side, there aren't real games on mobile, even though they're literally the same games you're playing elsewhere, and from the other side, we don't pay for games.
Yeah.
If we can overcome those two to have a quality service, then maybe there can be a little bit of future in this sort of standard.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Be great. Okay, that's enough hoping.
No, hopes and dreams.
No more optimism. Enough of that shit.
Time to make everything terrible.
Thank you for watching and listening to 8.5bit. You can catch us on our website, 8.5bit.com, our Twitter and Facebook. Please like and share anything like that. Subscribe to us on whatever the hell you want, and join our Discord at discord.8.5bit.com. Also, if you're coming to PAX Australia, please join us on Saturday for the Trash Enthusiast Society at 8 p.m. in the Ibis Theatre, and on Friday for the best worst games in history, Aliens, Colonial Marines, 6:30 in the Fruit Bats Theatre.
Yes.
They're normally pretty fun shows, at least from what I've been told.
Can confirm.
At least we have a good time.
Look, I'm not on those panels, and I've enjoyed last year's ones.
Well, I'm glad you did. We tend to get good feedback.
Sure, I'll enjoy this year too.
I get very anxious and try to make sure the presentation has too much. Like last year, I turned up with 6 hours of footage for a 1 hour presentation. But
it worked out.
You got to cover your bases. What if someone talks about something and they don't have supporting footage? It's got to be there. So I'll be locking myself in edit suite soon just to make sure I've got everything I need. Everything's ready. It's going to be good. Okay. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Paul.
I've been Sam.
And I've been James.
Catch you later, folks.
Yeah.